Chapter 26-24. Book 1, Book 2, Book 3. Facing everyone's gazes, Erisina gave a playful smile as she said, "What do you think of my looks? Am I very beautiful? Do you want me?" Seeing this, the big man smiled and said happily, "Of course I do. I want all of you." The gorgeous-looking young man looked at Erisina and felt quite tempted. Seeing the young man's expression, the young man understood what he was thinking and immediately said, "It's too much of a pity for a beauty like you to be with him. It's better to follow our prince. You can get whatever you want." The big man frowned. With his qualifications, he indeed could not compete with the gorgeous-looking young man, but he did not want to give up on such a beauty. He said, "So what if you're a prince? Our faction is the most powerful here. I can help you get whatever you want." Boom! At that moment, a massive explosion sounded out as a terrifying emperor's aura spread out. Everyone's expressions fell as they looked down and saw a handsome-looking young man in green. The handsome-looking young man smiled as he said, "This lowly one is called Qinghui, and I'm an imperial prince. I've never seen someone as beautiful as you in an empire. No one here is worthy of you. Only I am." Hearing his words, everyone looked quite shocked. They had never thought that this handsome-looking young man was an imperial prince. Imperial princes rarely came to this place, and with his status as an imperial prince, no one here could compare to him. The big man and the young man did not say anything because they did not dare to offend an empire. Now, everyone's gazes fell on Erisina. If it was an ordinary woman, she would have happily agreed because following by an imperial prince's side would bring her countless benefits. Erisina did something that no one would have expected. She intimately sat on Zhao Fu's body and lightly smiled as she said, "It's very easy to obtain me. Whoever takes me from him will have me. Anyone can do it." Hearing this, everyone felt quite panicked and felt an urge to rush over and fight with Zhao Fu. Baisher, you looked quite awkward as he said loudly, "Everyone, please abide by the auction's rules. We'll settle this after the auction. Our Yao Ming Financial Group will not interfere." This was the Yao Ming Financial Group's territory, so no one dared to do anything. They could only endure for now and come back to take Erisina away later. Another auction item was quickly brought up. It was another piece of equipment with a starting price of 33 million gold coins. Everyone started bidding fiercely. Erisina smiled in Zhao Fu's arms and said, "Shouldn't you thank me? I did you a favor." Zhao Fu said with a smile, "It doesn't matter whether you help or not. I already have a plan." Erisina said unhappily, "All right, then I won't help you anymore." Zhao Fu chuckled and said, "I'll thank you later, all right?" Erisina smiled with satisfaction and nodded. Feng Xinsha stood on the side without any expression. Shuemu looked at Erisina enviously. Painted bow and eyebrow felt a little complicated. Time passed quickly, and one item after another was auctioned off. The best item was the finale of this auction, and everyone became excited. The first item was pushed out. It was a 2-meter-long rhombus-shaped blue crystal stone, and it gave off a massive insect beast aura as well as a massive emperor's might. Baisher Yu gave a trace of a smile and said excitedly, "This is a somewhat damaged emperor insect Denver. The starting price is 80 million gold coins. If it was a complete emperor-grade hive, it would be impossible to buy it with money. This was because not only could an emperor-grade hive nurture countless insects, but it could also nurture emperor-grade insects. It could even develop an existence comparable to an emperor-grade faction. Its value was unimaginable. However, this was a broken din crystal, so it did not have such terrifying effects. However, it was still quite precious, so it was one of the finale items. A bald elder directly called out, 100 million gold coins. Everyone started to feel quite excited as they looked ahead. This was the first time something had reached the price of 100 million gold coins, and they would never be able to obtain so much money in their lifetimes. Another middle-aged man immediately called out, 150 million gold coins. This increase of 50 million gold coins caused everyone to feel quite shocked, but someone quickly made an even higher bid. Zhao Fu looked at the insect den and wanted to obtain it. This was the first time he had seen an insect den, and the highest he had seen before was a king-grade insect den. Zhao Fu wanted to see if he could repair this insect den, and if he could not, he could nurture a massive emperor-grade wyvern. Looking at the intense bidding, Zhao Fu was not in a hurry to participate. After a while, there were fewer people bidding, and the insect den's price reached 500 million gold coins. Boom! A terrifying aura exploded out from a yellow-haired elder's body, causing the air to become incredibly heavy. Some people with lower cultivations found it difficult to breathe. Everyone looked at the yellow-haired elder in shock. The aura he gave off was that of an Emperor Heaven Realm expert. The yellow-haired elder looked around warningly and called out, 510 million gold coins. Facing the yellow-haired elder's aura, everyone else started to hesitate. The Emperor Heaven Realm was the highest cultivation here, and looking at the yellow-haired elder, anyone who bid would offend him, which was equivalent to offending an Emperor Heaven Realm existence. The handsome-looking young man, Qing Huiyi, called out, 530 million gold coins. Everyone feared the yellow-haired elder, but with Qing Huiyi's status as an imperial prince, he did not fear him at all. Hearing Qing Huiyi bid, the yellow-haired elder looked quite furious and glared at Qing Huiyi. At that moment, a square-faced, middle-aged man next to Qing Huiyi gave off a massive aura, causing everyone around him to feel their bodies sink. This was another Emperor Heaven Realm expert, and everyone instinctively retreated, opening up an empty space. The yellow-haired elder looked away and called out with a serious expression, 600 million gold coins. This was the highest price he could offer. If someone offered a higher price, he could only give up. Qing Huiyi calmly called out, 610 million gold coins. The yellow-haired elder looked at Qing Huiyi and decided not to bid anymore. There was nothing he could do to Qing Huiyi, as not only did Qing Huiyi have a prestigious status, but he also had the protection of an Emperor Heaven Realm expert. If it wasn't for this, he would have already attacked Qing Huiyi. Bai Shiyu looked around and called out, "Is there anyone else who wants to bid? If there is no one else, this Emperor Grade Den will belong to this Imperial Prince." At that moment, Zhao Fu called out, 620 million gold coins. Hearing this, everyone looked at Zhao Fu in confusion. They had never thought that a cowardly trash like Zhao Fu would dare to bid at a time like this. Was he not afraid of death? Chapter 26-25. Book 1, Chapter 70. Kingo Yi felt quite surprised and called out, 650 million. Zhao Fu did not hesitate and immediately called out, 660 million. Kingo Yi slightly frowned and called out, 700 million gold coins. Zhao Fu did not look like he was going to give up and continued to call out, 710 million gold coins. Everyone felt quite surprised and could not understand where Zhao Fu had gotten his courage to bid against an imperial prince. If it was before, he would have long since given up. Kingo Yi felt quite angry and called out, 800 million gold coins. Just like that, he increased the bid by 90 million gold coins, causing everyone to look at Kingo Yi in shock. However, Zhao Fu did not give up and called out, 810 million gold coins. Ziyin could not help but say, "Are you an idiot? That's an imperial prince. Don't blame others for not warning you." Zhao Fu looked at her and smiled as he said, "Ma'am, I know." Ziyin felt quite confused and could not understand why a coward like Zhao Fu dared to compete with an imperial prince. Could it be that he really wanted this thing? Kingo Yi asked, "Do you think I'm easier to bully than others?" Kingo Yi felt quite angry. This person had been afraid that others would not dare to bid, yet he dared to bid against him. This was evidently looking down on him. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "That's not what I meant. This thing goes to the highest bidder." Just as Kingo Yi was about to continue bidding, the Emperor Heaven Realm expert next to him said softly, "Young master, forget about it. I can sense that this person is not an ordinary person." Hearing this, Kingo Yi felt quite startled and did not bid. Seeing this, everyone looked quite confused. This imperial prince was not bidding anymore. What was going on? Bai Shiyu called out, "Is there anyone else bidding? If there is no one else, this item will belong to this guest." There was still no one else bidding, and in the end, This insect den was obtained by Zhao Fu. The yellow-haired old man looked at Zhao Fu with a hint of viciousness in his eyes. Previously, he didn't bid because of the extreme greenhua page, but he wasn't afraid of Zhao Fu. Moreover, he didn't plan to spend a single cent and snatch the item after the auction ended. The second item was brought out. It was a 3-finger-sized, irregularly shaped stone. It gave off a faint light, but it was unclear what it was. Bai Shiyu smiled as he introduced, "This stone contains the top-notch cultivation technique, Elephant Divine Cage. This is a cultivation technique that can be cultivated to become a supreme being, so everyone should understand its value. The starting price is 100 million gold coins." The power of a top-notch cultivation technique caused everyone present to be moved. Although the starting price was 100 million gold coins, no one retreated. Someone immediately shouted, 110 million. Zhao Fu was not interested in this cultivation method. He had already cultivated the 6 desires demonic scripture and Qin's cultivation method. Now he also had to cultivate the 8 forbidden blood technique of the first evil immortal. He was not in the mood to cultivate other cultivation methods. 150 million gold coins, 200 million gold coins, 300 million gold coins. The price of the top-notch cultivation technique became higher and higher, and after it reached 500 million gold coins, the number of people competing decreased. Hong Yin and the opulent young man both wanted this top-notch cultivation technique, so they were also competing. The opulent young man cupped his fists and said, "Everyone, I bid 700 million gold coins. Can you give me some face?" Hearing this, everyone else fell silent. Some people feared the opulent young man's identity. Some people were not afraid of the opulent young man, and a short middle-aged man said, "Imperial kingdoms like you don't lack this, so don't fight with us. I bid 710 million gold coins." The opulent young man frowned, looking quite angry. With someone taking the lead, others quickly joined in. In the end, the price of the cultivation technique reached 800 million gold coins, and there were only 2 people left. One was the opulent young man, while the other was the short middle-aged man. However, the middle-aged man obtained the cultivation technique in the end, and the price of the cultivation technique reached 900 million gold coins. Following this, another item was brought out. It was a 2-handed sword that was purplish-black. The blade was 3 fingers wide and 1 meter long, and there were scenes of people fighting engraved on it. The handguard was like 2 short blades, and the hilt was made of metal. The end of the sword was pointed, and it gave off an extremely powerful battle aura. This sword's quality was quite high, and it gave off a trace of battle intent. It was quite suitable for people who liked to fight. Bai Shiyu looked at Hong Yin and smiled as he said, "This sword is called the Do Ling sword, and it was once the sword of Do Valley's #1 expert. Its quality is quite high, and it has a powerful battle intent. The starting price is 110 million gold coins." Everyone looked to Hong Yin. Do Valley was a terrifying imperial faction, and this sword was the sword of Do Valley's #1 expert. Just thinking about it made one feel that this sword was quite extraordinary. Only large merchant groups like Yao Ming would dare to auction such an item. Ordinary merchant groups would have long since been destroyed by Do Valley. Many people felt quite interested, but they also hesitated. Hong Yin had evidently come for this sword. So could they have it? Everyone fell silent, and no one made a bid. At that moment, Hong Yin calmly called out 120 million gold coins. Everyone else thought for a moment before joining in, and the price of the sword continuously rose. Zhao Fu had been watching others from the side. He had many swords, so he was not very interested in this sword. However, when he thought about how his swords were all from the Heaven-Awakened world and did not have any weapons from the outer world, in order to make things easier for him in the future, Zhao Fu decided to make a bid. With this sword's quality, Zhao Fu would be able to use it. Soon, the price of the Do Ling sword reached 600 million gold coins. Hong Yin said, "This Do Ling sword is an important item to Do Valley, and we will not let it fall into anyone else's hands. Please think this through." These words caused everyone's expressions to become serious. What Hong Yin meant was that this sword was something important to them, and they would definitely obtain it. If anyone obtained this sword, Dove Valley's people would definitely come to take it from them. Now, everyone started to hesitate. Obtaining this sword required a large amount of gold coins, and it could be taken away in the future. As such, everyone decided to give up. There was no need to put themselves in danger. At that moment, Zhao Fu spoke. 610 million gold coins. Everyone looked at Zhao Fu in confusion. What was wrong with this person? Hong Yin had already threatened him. So why did he still dare to make a bid? This person was really stupid, wasn't he? Hong Yin also looked quite confused. She had never thought that Zhao Fu would make a bid at a time like this. Just as she was about to say something, Ziyin said, "Leave this fellow to me." Hong Yin thought about it and nodded. Ziyin looked at Zhao Fu and said angrily, "Do you have a bad memory? You still dare to compete with us? I can tell you that not only will you not be able to beat us, but even if you obtain this sword, we will immediately take it from you. Don't make things difficult for yourself. Just take your women and scram." Climax. Chapter 26. Book 1, Chapter 71, translated by Hypersheep 325, edited by Mike. Here Feng Shunsha lightly laughed as she said, "Do you know what you're doing?" Ziyin coldly replied, "Of course I do." Feng Shunsha smiled as she said, "Then do you know who you're saying this to?" Ziyin said disdainfully, "I don't know your identities, but I know that he's a coward who bullies the weak and fears the strong. As a man, he doesn't have any backbone at all. I'm curious why someone as beautiful as you would follow such a person." Feng Shunsha did not answer Ziyin's question and lightly laughed as she said, "I hope you won't regret it." Ziyin looked quite confused, not knowing what Feng Shunsha was talking about. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Yes, I'm trash, so I don't dare to compete with you." Hearing this, no one wanted to look at him because such a person was not worthy of them looking at him. Just looking at him made them feel ashamed. Was there really such a trash? Not only had he been humiliated like this, but he had also admitted that he was trash. What was going on with the women by his side? Why were they following such a person? It was such a pity. Zhao Fu did not continue to bid, nor did anyone else. In the end, the sword was obtained by Hong Yin for 620 million gold coins. After successfully bidding for the sword, Hong Yin finally felt relieved. Her mission this time was to obtain this sword. Following this, an item was brought out. It was a rusty piece of bronze with some dirt on it. It did not give off any aura, and it felt like a very ordinary item. Bai Shiyu introduced it. This bronze piece was obtained by our merchant group by accident. Don't look down on it, because it looks ordinary. Even Emperor Heaven Realm cultivators are unable to destroy it. I don't know what material was used to make it, but it's extremely tough and has existed for a long time. The starting bid is 150 million gold coins. No one immediately called out a bid because they did not know what it was for or what use it had. No one was willing to spend so much money on a piece of trash. Zhao Fu's expression became serious and was no longer as relaxed as before. Sitting in his embrace, Ericina sensed Zhao Fu's change and asked softly, "What is it?" Zhao Fu did not answer. Instead, he looked around and saw that no one was bidding. He then shouted, 160 million. Hearing that someone had finally made a bid, Bai Shiyu inwardly let out a sigh of relief. He looked around, hoping that someone else would make a bid. This item had already been auctioned once, and no one wanted it, so he did not want to bid again. Seeing Zhao Fu bid, Qing Huiyi thought for a moment before calling out, 200 million gold coins. Zhao Fu immediately shouted, 300 million gold coins. Qing Huiyi called out, 350 million gold coins. Zhao Fu glanced at him and didn't bid again. Qing Huiyi was a little confused. Why did Zhao Fu stop bidding? Although he felt that this item was very ordinary, he thought that there was something special about the bronze shard when he saw Zhao Fu bidding. He did not expect that Zhao Fu would give up so quickly. A smile appeared on Shiraishiyu's face. Are there any other bids? If not, this bronze fragment will belong to this prince. At that moment, Zhao Fu slowly said, 360 million gold coins. Seeing Zhao Fu start bidding again, Qing Huiyi started to hesitate and wondered if he should continue bidding. At that moment, Zhao Fu said, "If you bid 1 billion gold coins, I'll let you have this item." Hearing this, Qinghua Yi gave up on bidding. He was not stupid enough to spend 1 billion gold coins on a piece of trash. Hearing this, no one else made a bid. They did not want to spend 1 billion gold coins. In the end, the bronze fragment was obtained by Zhao Fu. Erisina looked at Zhao Fu and did not say anything as she lay in Zhao Fu's embrace. Following this, another item was pushed onto the stage. It was 3 meters tall and 4 meters wide, and it looked like many mountain peaks. It gave off an incredibly powerful and heavy aura. Shiraishi Yu once again smiled as he introduced it. This is a top-grade lofty mountain jade. Even a small piece of ordinary lofty mountain jade is worth 1 million gold coins, and such a large piece of top-grade lofty mountain jade is incredibly rare. Everyone, don't miss out on it. The starting price is 200 million gold coins. Lofty mountain jade was a rare material for forging defensive equipment. With so much lofty mountain jade, they could forge a set of defensive equipment. 220 million gold coins, 300 million gold coins, 340 million gold coins. No matter what the price was, Zhao Fu was not interested at all and silently sat there. Erisina could not help but ask, "What is that bronze fragment?" Zhao Fu replied, "I'm not sure, but I sensed a trace of source energy from that bronze fragment. Even though it was very weak, it was indeed source energy. If I didn't have an origin bloodline, I would not have been able to sense it. Moreover, the source energy from the bronze fragment is the primal chaos world's source energy." Erisina felt quite startled. She had never thought that it would be related to an origin item. No matter what, anything related to origin was definitely not ordinary, and she understood why Zhao Fu had become so serious. Right now, Zhao Fu did not know what use this bronze shard had, and he could only confirm that it had a trace of source energy. Perhaps he had indeed bought a piece of trash, but he would have to wait until he obtained the shard to find out. Zhao Fu was not interested in anything else, and he was waiting for the auction to end so that he could obtain that bronze fragment. Everyone naturally did not mind Zhao Fu's changes and continued to bid. In the end, the massive lofty mountain jade was obtained by a handsome-looking young man. The next item was quickly brought over. It was an icy eyeball that was the size of fist. It had many small, icy tentacles, and it floated above the wooden plate. It was covered by an energy barrier, and it gave off a terrifying chill. Baishu Yu introduced, "This is the Emperor Heaven Realm's Ice Demon Winter Eye. It can be fused into one's own eye and can freeze the heavens and earth. The starting price is 300 million gold coins." Everyone could feel the bone-chilling coldness. If they fused it into their eyes, they would be able to freeze everything they saw. Just thinking about it was terrifying, so they started to bid again. Even Qinghua Yi was tempted by such a treasure and joined in the bidding. Zhao Fu now had many eyes. His left eye had 13 pupils, and it had even more terrifying power than the Ice Demon Freezing Eye. Naturally, he did not want to fuse it into his own eye. In the end, the Ice Demon Frost Eye was obtained by Qinghua Page, and it was sold for an astonishing 800 million gold coins. Then another object was pushed out. Zhao Fu was not interested in these things. Fortunately, the auction was already in its late stages. After bidding for another item, the auction was finally about to end. Those who didn't get anything walked out of the auction hall, while those who got something walked into a room on the side. Zhao Fu exhaled. He had been waiting for this moment for a long time. Chapter 26-27. Book 1, Chapter 72, translated by Hypersheep 325, edited by Mike. Here, the skinny young man came to Zhao Fu's place. He wanted to use the insect life pill to save his little brother, and when he saw Zhao Fu and painted brows, he was very grateful. Zhao Fu did not mind him and allowed him to follow behind him. They came to a room, and Zhao Fu recognized the person inside. It was LV Nan. There were 3 items on the table beside him. One was a bottle of medicinal pills, one was a bronze fragment, and one was a storage ring. The insect lair most likely contained the Emperor-grade insect lair, because the insect lair was simply too big. Elvin smiled as he said, "Sir, these are the things you bought. You can check them." Zhao Fu threw a spatial ring containing gold coins to LV Nan and said, "There's no need." Zhao Fu had other things to do, so he did not waste any more time. LV Nan caught the spatial ring and sent his consciousness into it to take a look. He smiled as he handed the 3 items on the table to Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu took the 3 items and put them away. LV Nan said, "Sir, I've already sent people to collect the insect beast blood and chaos blood that you wanted. It will probably take a few more days." Zhao Fu nodded and led the others out of the room and outside the auction hall. After waiting for a while, the yellow-haired elder gave a sinister smile. However, he did not do anything because this was the Alliance City and he had to take the Alliance into consideration. As such, he did not do anything and planned to wait for Zhao Fu to come outside. Then, no matter what he did, no one would care. Apart from him, there were a few people who also stayed behind. Some of them wantonly looked at Erisina. They still remembered that as long as they could snatch her water, she would belong to whoever. Such a rare beauty in this world made them feel extremely moved. There were also some people who gave off powerful auras. Their target was most likely not Zhao Fu, but someone else who had bought something. Zhao Fu ignored these people and stood outside to wait. This caused everyone to be stunned. They were waiting for Zhao Fu to leave the Alliance City so that they could make their move. Why was he stopping here now? At this time, the bearded man also walked out from inside. Looking at Zhao Fu waiting outside, he said with a contemptuous smile, "I was going to look for you, but I didn't expect you to wait for me outside. Are you going to give the woman to me? If you're so sensible, I'll let you off." Zhao Fu ignored him and continued to look at the door. The bearded man was infuriated. "You dog, I'm talking to you, yet you dare to treat me like this? You're going to die today. It's useless even if you beg for mercy." The skinny young man could not help but advise, "Sir, Yuwu City is the strongest force in this area. We should leave as soon as possible and not cause any trouble." Zhao Fu handed him the bottle of pills and said, "You don't have to worry about this. Take this pill and save your brother." The skinny young man took the pill, his face full of worry. "Sir, you really should leave this place as soon as possible. Otherwise, something will happen." Skeletal painting eyebrows smiled and said, "You'd better leave quickly. You don't have to worry about us." The skinny young man hesitated for a moment before saying, "I'll be leaving then. Sir, you must ensure my safety. I'll definitely repay you if I have the chance in the future." After thanking Zhao Fu once again, the skinny young man turned and prepared to leave. The bearded man said furiously, "Stop right there. You're related to him now. So if you want to leave, you need your elder's permission." The skinny young man stood up, his expression quite unsightly. The others who had been about to leave felt that something was about to happen, so they all stopped and wanted to see how things would develop. They knew about the conflict between the people at the auction. At that moment, some other people walked out. A young man next to the gorgeous-looking young man said mockingly, "You deserve it. Why don't you take a look at who you are and dare to offend everyone? Killing you will be stained by our prince's hands." The gorgeous-looking young man looked at Erisina and said softly, "Give her to me, and I'll guarantee that you'll leave safely." The bearded big man felt quite angry, but facing a prince, he could only endure it for now because he could not afford to offend a prince. Hong Yin and Zi Yin also walked out and were not surprised by this scene. Hong Yin wanted to immediately leave, but Zi Yin pulled her and smiled as she said, "Let's see what happens first." Hong Yin stayed. She could roughly guess what would happen next. Either they would kill Zhao Fu or Zhao Fu would hand over his woman. There was nothing to see, so she was not interested. Seeing that Zhao Fu did not reply, the gorgeous-looking young man slightly frowned. The young man said angrily, "Are you deaf? Didn't you hear our prince talking to you? If you don't beg our prince, you'll all die." Kingo Yi also walked out and wanted to stay and watch. However, the expert beside him felt uneasy and reminded him, "Emperor, let's hurry up and leave." Kingo Yi thought about it and glanced at Erisina. He also planned to leave. Although he was a bit moved by Erisina, he did mind that she was already another man's woman. Hearing what was happening outside, LV Nin also walked out. Seeing this scene, he felt a headache. At that moment, Zhao Fu spoke not to the gorgeous-looking young man, but to King Go Yi, "Hand over your essence blood, and I'll let you leave." The scene was sent into an uproar. No one had thought that Zhao Fu would dare to say such a thing. LV Nin was also startled. Although he knew that Zhao Fu was not simple and needed all kinds of essence blood, he had never thought that Zhao Fu would directly ask for essence blood from a prince without any politeness. King Go Yi was somewhat angry and asked, "You want essence blood from me?" Zhao Fu calmly said, "Yes, hand over your essence blood, and you can leave. I don't want to kill you." Everyone looked at Zhao Fu in shock and felt that Zhao Fu had gone mad. He dared to ask for essence blood from an imperial prince. Did he know who an imperial prince was? King Go Yi looked furious and was about to speak. However, the middle-aged man blocked in front of King Go Yi and said seriously, "Sir, there is no enmity between us. Don't go too far." Everyone looked quite confused. They understood that the middle-aged man was an Emperor Heaven Realm expert. Since that person dared to speak to an imperial prince like this, shouldn't he have just killed him? With an imperial prince's status, if he killed a person in the Alliance City, the Alliance City would not make things difficult for him. Why was this expert afraid of that person? What could a cowardly person who was afraid of death do to an Emperor Heaven Realm expert? Everyone felt quite confused. The young man disdainfully laughed as he said, "An imperial prince's follower is afraid of such a person? If word of this got out, it would be a joke." Zhao Fu glanced at the young man, and a massive, formless energy sent the young man flying back. Bang! A muffled explosion sounded out as the young man flew back and crashed against a wall, blood splattering everywhere. The young man powerlessly fell to the ground, lifeless. Chapter 26-28. Book 1, Chapter 73. The gorgeous-looking young man looked furious. Zhao Fu had dared to kill his people. Everything had happened too quickly, and everyone had not been able to react. They looked at the scene in shock and could not understand how Zhao Fu had killed the young man. Everyone felt that the situation was not good. Those who dared to kill people in the Alliance City were not people to be trifled with, so they wanted to leave. Zhao Fu spoke with a domineering and arrogant tone. "Leave behind your essence blood, or all of you will die here." Everyone felt quite startled and did not have the mood to watch the show. Their expressions were quite unsightly, and they felt that this was too domineering and arrogant. Most importantly, they did not have a trace of courage to refuse. The bearded big man threatened, "Yuwu City is the largest faction here. If you dare to touch me, I'll try." Zhao Fu looked at the bearded big man and stretched out a hand. A massive wave of power turned into a formless hand that grabbed the bearded big man's body. The big man looked terrified. He had never thought that Zhao Fu would really dare to attack, and he had never thought that Zhao Fu would be so strong. Just as he was about to speak, Zhao Fu gripped his hand. Bang! An explosion sounded out as the big man's body exploded. Blood flew everywhere, creating a rain of blood. Zhao Fu retracted his hand, and a formless suction force sucked in traces of blood chi and condensed them into a ball of pure essence blood. The bearded big man's blood was of a very high grade, so Zhao Fu did not waste it. Everyone looked at Zhao Fu in terror. The bearded big man was a world realm expert, and he had been instantly killed by a single hand without being able to resist at all. Just how terrifying was this person's power? The scene fell into deathly silence, and no one dared to make sound. Ericina smiled. This was the Zhao Fu that she liked. Shui Mu and Hua Gu Mei were quite startled facing the current Zhao Fu. This was the first time they had seen this side of Zhao Fu. However, they also let out a sigh of relief. Back then, they had been bullied quite a bit. The middle-aged man said solemnly, "Emperor's son, you leave first." Asking an imperial prince to hand over his essence blood was simply too shameful. The middle-aged man naturally would not agree, so he told Qing Yi to leave first. At this moment, Qing Yi also understood why the middle-aged man was so afraid of Zhao Fu. He responded and was about to leave. Zhao Fu's expression did not change. He stretched out a finger and pointed at Qing Huiyi. A massive power surged out from his finger, transforming into a terrifying black dragon that charged at Qing Huiyi. The middle-aged man's expression fell, and his palm gave off an azure light as he slapped out with mountain-crushing power. Bang! A massive explosion sounded out as a shock wave rippled out. The middle-aged man's body flew backwards, and he coughed up a mouthful of blood. He was slightly injured. Everyone looked incredibly shocked. That middle-aged man was an Emperor Heaven Realm expert. How could he not be able to stop a casual finger from that person? Everyone felt an intense sense of terror. This person was simply too terrifying. Even an Emperor Heaven Realm expert was not a match for him. They would not be able to resist at all. The yellow-haired elder felt quite afraid. He had wanted to kill Zhao Fu to take his things, but fortunately he had not done so, or else he would have been the one to die. Hong Yin, Ziyin, and the gorgeous-looking young man were all quite shocked. They had never thought that the person who had not dared to offend them before would have such terrifying strength. Thinking about what had just happened, their expressions became quite unsightly. LV Nan was also quite shocked. He knew that Zhao Fu was very powerful, but he had never thought that he would be this powerful. No wonder he was not afraid of an imperial prince and dared to ask for essence blood. Zhao Fu looked at Qing Huiyi and said, "I've already given you a chance. If you don't hand over your essence blood, don't blame me." Qing Huiyi's expression was quite unsightly, and he thought for a moment before looking at the middle-aged man. If he did not hand over his essence blood, he would definitely die. Even though it was quite shameful, his life was more important. Moreover, losing some essence blood would not affect him too much. "I can give you some of my essence blood." Qing Huiyi took out a sword and cut his palm. A faint pressure flowed out, and under his control, it formed a ball of blood. Hearing this, the others also cut their own hands and released their essence blood. Even an imperial prince had been forced to release his blood, so they did not have the courage to resist. They could only choose to release their blood to preserve their lives. Qing Huiyi threw the ball of blood at Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu caught it and put it in his spatial ring. Right now, he did not have time to refine this imperial prince's blood. Qing Huiyi coldly said, "Can I leave now?" Zhao Fu smiled and said, "You can leave." "Thanks." Qing Huiyi coldly snorted and left with the middle-aged man. Seeing this, the others also tossed out their blood orbs, and they all flew toward Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu waved his hand and put them all away. He smiled and said, "You can all leave now." Everyone let out a sigh of relief and immediately left, not daring to stay any longer. After giving his blood ball to Zhao Fu, the gorgeous-looking young man wanted to leave with the others. Zhao Fu said, "Stop right there." The gorgeous-looking young man's face became pale as he said, "What else do you want?" Zhao Fu said, "Leave your spatial ring behind, and I'll let you go. You can choose not to hand it over." The gorgeous-looking young man hesitated. Even though there were many treasures and gold coins in his spatial ring, they were not as important as his life. He had been quite unlucky to have met such a terrifying person today. The gorgeous-looking young man admitted defeat and threw the spatial ring to Zhao Fu before angrily walking away. Zhao Fu smiled as he accepted the spatial ring and did not stop the gorgeous-looking young man from leaving. Hong Yin and Ziyin also wanted to leave, but Zhao Fu stopped them. Hong Yin's expression was quite unsightly as she said, "We can give you our spatial rings, but we'll only keep one thing." Zhao Fu asked, "Is it that sword?" Hong Yin nodded. "That sword is very important to us. We have to bring it back." Zhao Fu said no. Hong Yin's heart sank. That sword was the most important to them, and it was the reason why they had come here. If they gave it to Zhao Fu, they did not know if they would be able to get it back in the future. Hong Yin said unwillingly, "We can use other more valuable treasures to exchange for it. Please don't take that sword." Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he asked, "Do you need more valuable treasures?" Hong Yin explained, "We have a few extremely precious treasures in our storage rings. Their combined value will definitely surpass that sword. We can use them to exchange for that sword." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "What about your spatial rings?" "That my spatial ring now." Hong Yin said, Then can you let us go back? We'll give you some treasures to exchange for it. How about it? Just as Zhao Fu was about to speak, a few terrifying auras shot towards him. Apex. Chapter 26-29. Book 1. Chapter 74 translated by Hypersheep 325 edited by Mike. Here Zhao Fu looked up at the sky and said, Ericina, you can leave first. That's right, take those two with you. Ericina lightly nodded. Everyone present could sense these terrifying auras, and because these terrifying auras were released without any restrictions, the sky quickly changed. No one was surprised by these auras because they knew who was giving off such terrifying auras. Ericina looked at Hong Yin and Zi Yin and said, Let's go. Hong Yin and Zi Yin did not want to leave with Ericina because it was evidently not something good. They could only wait for an opportunity to escape. Ericina frowned and stretched out a hand. There was a black rune on her palm, and a powerful energy spread out. Two fallen angels appeared behind Hong Yin and Zi Yin, grabbing them. Hong Yin and Zi Yin vigorously struggled, but they were still taken away by Ericina. Just as they left, a few powerful auras descended. They were 5 Emperor Heaven Realm experts, 3 men and 2 women, and they looked down at Zhao Fu. A powerful-looking man with short blue hair said, Who are you? You dare to kill people in the Alliance City? Zhao Fu replied calmly, I just killed a few people. Everyone looked quite confused. The Alliance City's people had come, and they were 5 very powerful Emperor Heaven Realm experts. However, this person did not show any fear and spoke to the Alliance City's people like this. Even an Imperial Prince who killed people in the Alliance City would not dare to act like this. After all, the Alliance controlled the outer world. The short-haired man looked furious. The Alliance City forbids killing people. This is our Alliance City's rule. If you don't tell us who you are, we'll attack. Zhao Fu lightly laughed. You should just obediently leave. I'm not interested in attacking you. Everyone gasped and thought to themselves that this person was simply too arrogant. He had killed people in the Alliance City, yet he was telling the Alliance City's people to be obedient. Moreover, he was facing 5 Emperor Heaven Realm experts. Just how powerful was this person? The short-haired man directly attacked. His hand formed a claw and gave off a powerful aura as he grabbed toward Zhao Fu, giving off shocking sounds. Zhao Fu did not move at all, and a black dragon inscription barrier appeared, covering Zhao Fu's body. Bang! A loud sound rang out, and a gust of wind blew in all directions. The terrifying strength claw landed on the energy barrier, but did not break it. Seeing this, the 5 Emperor Heaven Realm experts' expressions became serious, and they flew in different directions to surround Zhao Fu. Now, they understood that Zhao Fu was terrifyingly strong, and this matter would not be resolved so easily. Zhao Fu gave a condescending smile as he said, Fu, Zhao Fu, Zhao Fu, I will accompany you. Boom. The Alliance City was covered by this terrifying aura, and everyone felt an Zhao and Fu and Chun and Wunshin and Fu. Everyone looked at Zhao Fu in shock. Fortunately, they had not fought against him, or else they would not even know how they had died. The 5 Emperor Heaven Realm experts' expressions fell. They had never thought that Zhao Fu would be so powerful. The short-haired man called out, Activate the Alliance formation, or else we won't be a match for him. The 4 others did not hesitate and raised their hands. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as the Alliance City gave off boundless light. A massive magic formation appeared in the sky, giving off a boundless might and causing the surrounding thousands of kilometers to sink. After activating the Alliance formation, the 5 Emperor Heaven Realm experts were able to relax. A valiant-looking young man said coldly, Now that the Alliance formation has been activated, even if you're a Void Realm expert, you won't be able to escape. You'd better obediently surrender, or else we'll kill you regardless of your identity. Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, Are you that confident? The short-haired man furiously laughed as he said, You can try and see why we're so confident. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as the ground cracked, and Zhao Fu's body turned into a black ray of light as he shot towards the massive black magic formation in the sky. Seeing that Zhao Fu still dared to face the magic formation head-on, the 5 Emperor Heaven Realm experts did not hold back and immediately controlled the Alliance formation to unleash its massive power. The massive magic formation gave off a powerful light and an extremely terrifying might that seemed to be able to destroy everything rushed toward Zhao Fu. The space around it twisted, looking quite terrifying. Zhao Fu looked at the massive magic formation and saw that the magic formation was extremely powerful. Zhao Fu, who was flying upwards, felt his body suddenly sink, and he quickly descended. Seeing that Zhao Fu was being suppressed, the 5 Emperor Heaven Realm experts smiled. Now this person understood how powerful the Alliance formation was. Would he still dare to be so arrogant? Seeing Zhao Fu quickly descend, everyone felt quite pleased. They had just been bullied by Zhao Fu and had not dared to resist, so they naturally felt quite angry. At that moment, Zhao Fu immediately wanted to activate his yin-yang immortal mode, but if he used this power, his identity would be easily exposed. Zhao Fu thought about it and decided that he could only use the number 1 evil immortal's power. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as boundless blood-red aura exploded out from Zhao Fu's body. A blood-red shockwave instantly spread out with an aura that seemed to be able to sweep through the heavens and earth, and that evil, crazily twisting power covered the entire region. The terrifying might that the Alliance formation was giving off was blocked by that evil, crazily twisting power. Everyone looked at Zhao Fu in shock. What kind of power is this? It's so terrifying. Sensing this power, their bodies started to tremble uncontrollably. This was the first time they had felt such terrifying power. Boom! Zhao Fu stretched out a hand, and countless insect beasts surged out from his arm, charging towards the Alliance formation like a wave of insect beasts. They gave off a shocking and unstoppable aura. Bang! The countless insect beasts slammed into the Alliance formation, causing it to tremble. The insect beasts started to madly gnaw at the Alliance formation, causing many holes to appear on the Alliance formation. In just a few moments, the Alliance formation would be completely devoured by the countless insect beasts. The 5 Emperor Heaven Realm experts panicked as they controlled the Alliance formation. The Alliance formation slowly spun, and an even more terrifying might spread out, crushing some insect beast bodies like a millstone. The crushed insect beasts turned into countless traces of blood-red aura and dissipated. Zhao Fu released even more insect beasts to gnaw at the Alliance formation. The two terrifying powers faced off against each other. Everyone looked at Zhao Fu, feeling quite curious about how Zhao Fu had such terrifying power. It was the first time they had seen such power. Chapter 2630. Book 1, Chapter 75. Battle. Zhao Fu looked at the two opposing powers and could not decide a victor. Zhao Fu did not want to continue like this, and an even more terrifying power spread out from Zhao Fu's body. Zhao Fu's body turned into countless insects. Green praying mantises, blue ants, white jellyfish, strange flying birds, black scorpions, long red centipedes, massive spiders. Countless insect beasts were like a massive wave of insect beasts, bringing with them the power to destroy everything as they charged towards the Alliance formation. Bang! A massive sound rang out as a hole was blasted open in the Alliance magic formation by the countless insects. Countless insects flooded out of the hole, and the Alliance magic formation started to collapse. The 5 experts were hit by a backlash and were forced back a step. A trace of blood leaked out of their lips, and their faces became pale. They had never thought that this person would be so powerful to be able to destroy the Alliance magic formation. The people on the ground looked at the countless insects in the sky in shock and gulped. They decided that they definitely could not offend such a terrifying person. Qing Weiyi, who had not left the Alliance city, also looked at the insects in the sky in shock. That person seemed quite young, and even as a high and mighty imperial prince, facing such a person, he felt powerless. He could not compare to him, and this made Qinghua Yi feel quite discouraged. The middle-aged man next to him said, "Young master, we should leave as soon as possible in case anything unexpected happens. We should leave this place as soon as possible to avoid any accidents. That person's status might surpass yours." Qinghua Yi nodded. "Since that person doesn't fear my status as an imperial prince, he might be an imperial prince from the central region. However, I've never heard of such a person before, and I suspect that he might be the legendary Primal Chaos Holy Son." The middle-aged man thought about it and said, "That's indeed possible. Even though he has Emperor Heaven Realm cultivation, I feel that even if there were 10 of me, I wouldn't be able to defeat him." Aresina, who had just left the Alliance City, stopped and looked at the countless insects above the Alliance City. They understood that this was the power released by Zhao Fu. Hong Yin and Zi Yin looked incredibly shocked. They felt that even if they had not been forcefully taken away, they would not have been able to escape. That man's power was simply too terrifying. Hong Yin thought about it and made a decision. She said to Arasna, "We can give you our spatial rings and give up our swords. Please let us off this time." Now that she knew how terrifying Zhao Fu's power was, Hong Yin knew that she couldn't keep these things. She might as well give them up and save her own life. Even the somewhat domineering Zi Yin didn't object at this time. Right now, she was also very afraid of that man. Feng Shunsha lightly laughed. "You still want to leave? That's impossible." Hong Yin frowned and said doubtfully, "Didn't you say that we could leave after handing over our essence blood and storage rings? Why are you going back on your words now?" Feng Shunsha smiled as she said, "Do you remember what I told you before? I hope you won't regret it. It's impossible for you to escape now. You'd better be obedient and wait for him to come back." "What?" Hong Yin and Zi Yin were startled. Thinking of being together with such a terrifying man, they wanted to agree. Zi Yin asked, "Can we refuse?" Feng Shunsha lightly laughed as she said, "Do you think that's possible? You've all seen how domineering that fellow is. I was forcefully taken by him before, and you don't have the ability to refuse." Hong Yin and Zi Yan's faces became pale. Arasna said softly, "Don't worry. He treats his women quite well, or else we wouldn't be following him. Moreover, his identity is incredibly prestigious, and you'll receive many unimaginable benefits." Hearing this, Hong Yin felt quite curious and asked, "Just what is his identity?" Shui Mu looked at the two of them and thought of herself before smiling as she said, "Our master is the origin child and the #1 person in the heaven-awakened world. He has 8 supreme emperor stars." Hearing this, Hong Yin and Zi Yin felt as if their minds had exploded and went blank. They had never thought that Zhao Fu's background would be so terrifying. Before, they had foolishly thought that he was a coward and had looked down on him. Now that they thought about it, they felt incredibly embarrassed. Above the Alliance City, countless insects started to gather and turn back into Zhao Fu's body. Zhao Fu looked at the 5 Emperor Heaven Realm experts and said domineeringly and condescendingly, "I've destroyed your alliance's magic formation." The 5 Emperor Heaven Realm experts' expressions were quite unsightly, and they did not reply to Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu said, "Can I leave now? Do you want to try and stop me again?" The short-haired man said, "You can leave. We're not a match for you." A slim woman asked, "Just who are you? Why didn't you tell us who you were? If we knew you had such terrifying power, we wouldn't have bothered with this." Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "It's best if you don't know who I am, or it will be very disadvantageous to you." Hearing this, the 5 Emperor Heaven Realm experts' expressions became serious, and they understood that Zhao Fu's identity was quite terrifying. LV Nan and the Elder looked at Zhao Fu from different places. They had interacted with Zhao Fu first, and had some understanding of Zhao Fu. However, they had never thought that Zhao Fu's identity would be so terrifying. In the future, they would have to be even more courteous to Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu did not say anything else and turned into a ray of light and flew to the side. In actuality, Zhao Fu did not want to kill the Alliance's people. After all, the Alliance's people were spread throughout the outer world, and killing their experts would bring about great trouble. Moreover, Zhao Fu did not have much enmity with them, and if they were seeking death, he would not show any courtesy. Following his senses, Zhao Fu found Erisina and the others. Hong Yin and Zi Yin looked at him in shock. Zhao Fu understood that they knew who he was and did not mind. Hong Yin said, "We can be your women, but can you not take that sword?" Zhao Fu looked at her and lightly laughed. "It's just that I don't have a suitable weapon in the outer world. You can take that sword or not, but if it's that important to you, you can keep it and I'll find another one." Hong Yin breathed a sigh of relief. They could not resist becoming Zhao Fu's women, and they would feel much better if they could keep the sword and complete the mission. Ziyin said embarrassedly, "I'm sorry before. I shouldn't have spoken to you like that. I never thought that you would have such a terrifying identity." Zhao Fu did not mind this and said, "Let's leave this place first." Right now, Zhao Fu had many things to do. Apart from finding a place to fuse with the insect blood, there was also the bronze fragment that Zhao Fu cared about the most. Even though the bronze fragment was incredibly damaged, it still had a trace of source energy. If anyone else stayed here, they would definitely be sucked dry by the bronze shard and die. Erisina and the others nodded and quickly left the area. Erisina and the others came out of the forest and saw that the entire forest was quickly dying. Countless leaves fell, trees withered, flowers and grass withered, and the ground seemed lifeless. The suction force became stronger and stronger, and soon it reached the outside of the forest. This forced Erisina and the others to retreat even further away. Now, this power continuously flowed into the bronze shard like a flood. Zhao Fu's expression was calm as he continued to send power into the bronze shard. He could still resist this suction force. After absorbing so much power, the bronze shard gave off a dazzling golden light, and the chaos origin energy became more and more powerful. After absorbing such a massive amount of power, the bronze shard did not seem to have absorbed enough. Instead, it became even hungrier as it devoured the surrounding power. Zhao Fu's expression fell. He definitely could not continue absorbing like this. Zhao Fu thought for a moment before using a dagger to cut his wrist. Crystalline blood flowed out from Zhao Fu's wound, giving off an intoxicating fragrance. Right now, Zhao Fu's origin blood was even more precious than a celestial pill. Sensing Zhao Fu's origin blood, the bronze shard became abnormally excited and quickly absorbed Zhao Fu's blood. The blood that flowed out from the wound formed a ribbon that was continuously absorbed by the bronze shard. Boom! A shocking explosion sounded out as an even greater suction force exploded out. Trees started to sway like a wild gale, and some sand and pebbles were blown into the sky. The clouds also quickly surged over. Erisina and the others' expressions became serious, and they could only retreat even further away. At that moment, the expressions of the people from the Alliance city nearby changed as they looked in Zhao Fu's direction. They could all clearly sense the massive ripples. The 5 Alliance city leaders had felt quite depressed because of what had happened to Zhao Fu. They had encountered such a terrifying person, and now they had sensed such powerful ripples. They looked at each other and decided to go and see what was going on. It was not just the Alliance city's experts. Some of the weaker people also want to go and see what was going on because they were quite close. Everyone flew in that direction. Boom! Before they could get close, they heard another massive explosion. A golden wave of light containing power that seemed to be able to sweep away everything spread out, and everyone hurriedly used their power to block this wave of light. Before they could heave a sigh of relief after blocking the wave of light, they sensed a massive wave of power surging towards them like a tsunami. When they sensed this wave of power, everyone revealed astonished expressions. Their bloodlines, their power, even their souls started to tremble. This is the power of origin. An old man shouted in shock. Everyone understood that this was origin energy, a power that surpassed Saint energy and was of the same origin as the world. Today was the first time they had sensed it. In the past, they had only heard of this origin energy from some ancient legends. However, why would origin energy appear in this place? Everyone was very confused. They had stayed in this region for a very long time, but they had never heard of anything related to origin energy. The short-haired man looked at the others. "Are we still going to take a look?" The valiant-looking young man said with certainty, "Of course we have to go and take a look. This is origin energy that has disappeared from the chaos world for countless years. If news of this gets out, it will definitely shock the entire alliance." The tall and slender woman said, "I wonder what happened up ahead. We haven't even gotten close, but we can already sense such a terrifying origin energy. Will it be dangerous for us to go over like this?" When they heard this, everyone stopped. Even though they were the strongest people in this region, when faced with this massive wave of origin energy, they seemed very powerless and weak. The short-haired man said, "We have to go and take a look at such a huge matter. Everyone, be careful from now on. If there's any danger, just run." Chapter 2632. Book 1, Chapter 77. Everyone nodded solemnly and continued flying in that direction. As the countless people drew closer, they could sense the origin energy grow stronger and stronger. They instinctively became more and more afraid, but they still wanted to know what was going on, so they persisted and continued onwards. In the end, everyone came to a relatively close position. They could no longer move forward. Their bodies and minds had reached a limit. If they continued to move forward, they might collapse to the ground without any strength. However, they also knew what had happened. They saw a person sitting cross-legged at the center of the countless golden lights. Because the light was too strong, they could not see who that person was at first. After squinting their eyes and looking closely, they finally saw who that person was. Everyone had a look of astonishment on their faces. They had not expected this person to be the one who had broken the alliance formation. This vast amount of origin energy seemed to be emanating from his body. Was he the primal chaos world's child of origin? Are there really children of the origin in the chaos world? A huge wave was set off in everyone's heart, and it took a long time for them to calm down. The 5 stewards of the Alliance City finally understood why Zhao Fu had said that it was best not to know his identity, and why Zhao Fu had been unwilling to reveal his identity. It turned out that he was the origin child of the chaos world. If news of this were to spread, it would definitely shock the world. In the center of the countless golden lights, Zhao Fu also sensed the arrival of many experts. At this time, his face was a little pale because he had lost too much blood. The bronze fragment in front of him was still absorbing Zhao Fu's blood and the surrounding worldly powers. The appearance of the fragment had changed greatly. It no longer looked as ancient as it did before. Instead, it looked brand new and had a metallic luster to it. Because the bronze shard had absorbed a great deal of Zhao Fu's blood, Zhao Fu tried to use his own blood to control the bronze shard. At first, he could only control a small amount. Now, as his blood continued to pour in his shard, the area he could control became larger and larger. However, the fragment suddenly lost control of Zhao Fu and turned into a beam of light that shot into the sky. Boom! A heaven-shaking explosion sounded out as countless dazzling golden lights shone out. It was an ancient, chaotic, and desolate power that suppressed the heavens and earth. The countless people present were filled with shock as they powerlessly collapsed to the ground. Terror came from the depths of their bodies, and none of them dared to look at the bronze shard in the sky. The 5 Alliance Town security officers found that the bronze shard was the bronze shard that they had auctioned off, and they felt quite complicated and regretful. If they had known that the bronze shard was related to the origin race, they definitely would not have auctioned it. However, without the bronze shard, they wouldn't be able to draw out the Child of Essence. Moreover, it seemed that the shard would only be useful if it fell into the hands of the Child of Essence. After all, they had studied the bronze shard for a long time, but they hadn't been able to find any use for it. The golden light weakened, and the terrifying primal chaos power also weakened. The bronze shard floating in the air turned into a golden ray of light and shot into Zhao Fu's body. Only now did everyone recover some of their strength, and they looked at Zhao Fu in shock. Because the bronze shard had flown into Zhao Fu's body, the aura that Zhao Fu gave off was the aura of primal chaos. Zhao Fu ignored these gazes and closed his eyes as he looked at the bronze shard within his body. Right now, the bronze shard was silently sitting within his body without doing anything. Zhao Fu tried to control the bronze shard, and luckily, it was still under his control. Otherwise, Zhao Fu definitely wouldn't allow something that he couldn't control to remain within his body. This shard was most likely a shard of a bronze mirror, and that bronze mirror was most likely an origin armament. In other words, it was a powerful item that contained primal chaos essence. Zhao Fu had no idea what had shattered the bronze mirror. If he collected all of the shards, perhaps he would be able to use his bloodline's power to repair it. It was a pity that the bronze mirror had shattered into many pieces, and with how big the primal world was, it would be very difficult to find other shards. However, he had an advantage, which was that this bronze shard could sense other shards. Perhaps he could use this bronze shard to find other shards. Zhao Fu opened his eyes and stood up, planning to leave this place. "We greet Origin Child." At that moment, countless people came to Zhao Fu's side and respectfully and excitedly bowed to Zhao Fu. They had never even seen a holy sun before, let alone an even rarer Origin Child. Zhao Fu lightly nodded. The short-haired man said, "Origin Child, we were in the wrong in the past, and we sincerely apologize to you." The more the 5 managers thought about it, the more afraid they became. They had offended an Origin Child, someone they could not afford to offend. This explained why Zhao Fu was so much more powerful than them despite being in the Emperor Heaven Realm. Zhao Fu said calmly, "It's fine." The short-haired man said, "Origin Child, we'd like to invite you to the Alliance City as a guest. We'll treat you well and apologize. Would you be willing to come?" A tall young man said flatteringly, "Origin Child, we'd like to invite you to our faction as a guest. We'll prepare the best wine and women for you to enjoy." Another beautiful middle-aged woman said flirtatiously, "Origin Child, you can come to our faction. We'll do our best to treat you well and ensure that you'll be satisfied." Everyone else also started to invite Zhao Fu. After all, Zhao Fu was the son of Origin, and if they could form some sort of relationship with the son of Origin, they would receive massive fortuitous encounters. How could they not feel excited? Even though there were many of them, they did not have any thoughts of making a move against Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu was like heaven to them, and they just wanted to get on good terms with Zhao Fu and curry favor with Zhao Fu. It would be best if they could obtain Zhao Fu's appreciation. Zhao Fu understood his identity. Because he had the bronze shard, they thought that he was the outer world's Origin Child. They did not know that he was the heaven-awakened world's Origin Child, and if this matter was spread, the consequences would be dire. Zhao Fu was determined to refuse them, and he said, "Apologies, I'll be leaving first." Hearing Zhao Fu refuse, everyone felt quite disappointed, but they did not dare to refuse. They smiled as they sent him off, saying, "It's all right, if Origin Child is time to go, we'll welcome you at any time." Zhao Fu nodded and turned into a ray of light as he shot over the horizon. Everyone looked in the direction that Zhao Fu had disappeared in, and before they could calm down, a piece of news about the primal chaos Origin Child shaking the entire outer world. Chapter 2633, Book 1, Chapter 78, Northern Alliance. The 5 administrators of the Alliance City were kneeling nervously in a large hall. There were 12 chairs in front of them, and there were 12 people sitting on them. There were men and women, old and young, and the auras they gave off were all very powerful. They were the 12 Alliance Masters of the Alliance, and they were the most powerful people in the outer world. Even though the 5 leaders knew that this matter would cause a massive commotion, they had never thought that it would cause such a commotion that the 12 Alliance Masters would personally summon them. Sitting at the center was a rough-looking middle-aged man, and he asked, Are you sure this is true? Did you see it for yourself? The short-haired man said with certainty, Alliance Master, we're certain that he's the origin child. That sort of power that reigns above saints is something that we can never forget. It's not just us who saw it. Countless people in the Alliance City have seen it. An elderly woman frowned. That's strange. The primordial race disappeared from the chaos world countless years ago. I've only heard about them from ancient legends. I've never seen a primordial child of the chaos world either. A young man with braided hair said, What's so strange about that? Don't forget that someone with 8 emperor stars has appeared in the Heaven Awakened world. When someone like that grows up, he'll be truly terrifying. The gentle-looking man sitting by the side thought for a moment before saying, I feel that this origin child that suddenly appeared might have something to do with that person with 8 emperor stars. After all, there hasn't been any news about the origin child for so many years. So why did news of the origin child suddenly appear? An elderly man with jet black hair said, I feel that the origin race is doing this on purpose. They know that such a terrifying person has appeared in the Heaven Awakened world and that no one in the outer world can compare to him. So they sent out an origin child to train him and also to have him represent the outer world to resist the Heaven Awakened sun. The gentle-looking man said, That's what I think as well. Otherwise, this origin child's appearance would be too coincidental. A beautiful woman said with a smile, If that's the case, that's great. That way, our primordial world will have someone who can fight against the children of the Heaven Awakened. With the power of the primordial essence race, I believe that the children of the primordial essence have the ability to do so. The gentle man sighed. It's a pity that the news has spread too far. The other great worlds might already know about the appearance of the Son of Chaos. Otherwise, we could use him as a weapon against the Tianqi children. Also, it seems that the Alliance is not interested in him. A fair-skinned young man said, As the Son of Chaos, it's understandable that he has no interest in our Alliance. After all, he's an existence of that level. Also, now that we know of his existence, our Alliance must be careful in the future. We must not offend him. The black-haired old man nodded. You're right. Facing such a child of chaos will bring us endless trouble. Everyone should be more careful in the future. Southern Alliance. The 12 people sat on chairs and also gave off terrifying auras. They were the 12 Alliance Masters of the Southern Alliance. A handsome young man said seriously, I heard that a child of chaos has appeared in the Northern Alliance. A young and beautiful woman nodded. It's true. Countless people here have personally seen this child of chaos. It definitely isn't fake. A bald young man smiled as he said, I'm quite interested in this child of chaos. I've never seen someone from the Essence race before, and I didn't know that he was someone like that. A skinny middle-aged man said, I'm quite curious as to why a child of chaos would suddenly appear. I'm worried that this child of chaos will cause some sort of shocking event. The young woman said, For a person like that to appear, he must have his own mission, and he will definitely cause some sort of shocking event. I think we must treat this matter with extreme caution. If we aren't careful, our lives might be in danger. The handsome young man said, We must be careful. Since he's in the north, let him stay there. It's best if we don't do anything. A middle-aged woman in white said, I also feel that we shouldn't do anything. Even if we personally find him, he won't be very interested in us. I think his mission in this world is to deal with that Heaven Awakened child. Since the Heaven Awakened world has given birth to such a terrifying person, our outer world should also have such a person. The handsome young man said, Everyone, make your decisions and pass down your orders. Make sure to keep a low profile. This is a special situation. The Western Alliance's 12 people also sat at the top of the hall. A mature and beautiful woman smiled as she said, I never thought that I would have the chance to personally see the child of chaos in my lifetime. I wonder what kind of person he is. I don't mind becoming his woman. A young woman with 2 braids smiled as she said, If that person is old, ugly, and has a violent personality, would you mind? The mature woman rolled her eyes as she said, I don't believe that the child of chaos is such a person. Haven't you read those books? People like him who appear in times of crisis are definitely peerless heroes who turn the tide and save the masses. The young woman said, I think you've read too much. I don't believe that he's such a person. A gentle-looking woman said, even though I don't know if he's a peerless hero or not, as the child of chaos, he's destined to be extraordinary. Moreover, his appearance means that something big is going to happen in the outer world. A delicate and pretty woman asked, what do you think we should do? The mature woman said, of course we should go find him. If we can find him, we'll satisfy all of his requests. Even if I don't become his woman, as long as the Western Alliance has a good relationship with him, we'll be able to obtain countless unimaginable benefits. A cold-looking woman said, I think that's a good idea. With that child of chaos identity and power, whoever obtains him will have a great advantage. The key is that no one dares to offend him. A flirtatious-looking woman lightly laughed as she said, I also want to go find him. I'm also quite interested in that bastard son. As the child of chaos, he's definitely not ordinary. The young woman said helplessly, if you want to go find him, go ahead. Do whatever you want. I'm not too interested. Instead, I'm more interested in the heaven-awakened son. It's a pity that the heaven-awakened son is too mysterious, and there's no way to find him. The mature woman said, don't sneak into the heaven-awakened world by yourself, or else we won't be able to save you if you encounter danger. The young woman said, I know, which is why I didn't go. Chapter 2634. Book 1, Chapter 79, Eastern Alliance. 12 people sat at the top of the hall, giving off a massive aura that caused everyone to feel a sense of fear. A white-haired elder, sitting in the middle, said seriously, the various factions in the primal chaos world should know that a primal chaos child has appeared. What do you all think we should do about this? A cold-looking young man said, I want to find that primal chaos child. If I can obtain his essence blood, I'll be able to easily raise my bloodline to the divine grade. This caused everyone's expressions to fall, and a black-clothed middle-aged man immediately said, you'd best not have that idea. Also, he's a primal chaos child. If you dare to touch him, even the Eastern Alliance won't be able to protect you. In fact, you might even be heavily injured. A monkey-faced young man immediately said, that's right. Don't drag us into this if you want to die. We don't even want to offend ordinary divine grade factions, let alone an origin race that has existed since creation. A pretty-looking woman said, stop arguing. I heard that this primal chaos child was exposed because of an abnormal sign caused by a bronze shard. That primal chaos child is most likely collecting that bronze shard. Do you know what that shard is? An ugly-looking woman said, I'm not sure, but that primal chaos child is collecting the bronze shard. It should be something related to the origin race. Perhaps we can use those bronze shards to find him. A fat man said, let him be. So what if we find him? You don't dare to offend him, and you're treating him like an ancestor. I don't want to have anything to do with him. A handsome-looking young man breathed out and said coldly, I really have to hand it to you people. One wants to obtain essence blood, while the other doesn't want to have anything to do with the primal chaos child. No wonder our Eastern Alliance is becoming weaker and weaker. An elderly man sighed. Our Eastern Alliance used to be the most powerful of the 4 alliances, but after what happened with the number 1 evil immortal, we've become weaker and weaker. A gentle-looking young man next to him said, let's not talk about these things anymore. Everyone has their own ideas, so let's just do what we want. Remember, if anything happens, don't implicate others. Also, don't be greedy for any benefits. The handsome-looking young man said, since that's the case, there's no need for this meeting to continue. I'll be leaving now. After the handsome young man left, the others also left. In the end, there were only 5 people left in the hall. The ugly woman said, I also want to collect that bronze shard. Even if it's useless to me, it can still attract that son of chaos. I don't need to explain how important that son of chaos is. Who's willing to join me? The pretty-looking woman said, I'll join. This might affect the chaos world's fate. How can we not participate? The others also chimed in. Other than the four alliances that control the alliance world, the other big and small forces were discussing this matter and made different decisions. It could be said that the entire primal chaos world was discussing Zhao Fu. Most people were in a state of shock. They had never thought that such a terrifying person would appear in the primal chaos world. Zhao Fu had caused such a huge commotion. However, they didn't know that Zhao Fu wasn't the son of chaos, but the son of apocalypse. Currently, Zhao Fu was within a mountain cave, which was quite far away from that region. Zhao Fu understood how big of a commotion the source energy would cause, so he had to stay far away from that region, or else Zhao Fu would be in great danger. As for the insect beast king blood that LV Nin had collected, he could only give up on that. It was impossible for Zhao Fu to go to that region, and LV Nin most likely knew who he was. Currently, LV Nin was kneeling in a hall, telling everyone about Zhao Fu in detail. The people sitting above were the Yao Ming Financial Group's managers. After hearing LV Nan's words, the managers had LV Nan leave and immediately inform them if Zhao Fu was looking for him. LV Nan relaxed and immediately left the hall. This time, he didn't know what to say. He had never thought that Zhao Fu's identity would be so terrifying. Also, the managers didn't blame LV Nan for the bronze shard. After LV Nan left, the managers began to discuss. They had far more information than anyone else. Not only did they know that Zhao Fu was collecting bronze shards, but they also knew that Zhao Fu was collecting countless amounts of blood. Both the insects and the chaos race needed it. They guessed that the bronze shard was related to the origin race, so no one was surprised that Zhao Fu was collecting it. However, they didn't understand why Zhao Fu was collecting so much blood. What kind of item, what kind of technique, and what kind of person would need so much blood? They didn't understand either. They also wanted to befriend Zhao Fu, the son of chaos, so they ordered people to inform them immediately if they saw Zhao Fu in the future. They could also satisfy all of Zhao Fu's requests. If they received the support of the son of chaos, they might become the chaos world's top financial group. Zhao Fu sat cross-legged on the ground and took out blood orbs and glass bottles, planning to absorb these bloodlines. Ericina and the other women rested by the side with red faces. Ziyan was a bit bolder, but Hongyan was quite shy. Bang! 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 Countless glass bottles shattered as countless amounts of blood and orbs flew into Zhao Fu's body. Zhao Fu started to refine the insects and chaos race bloodlines, and the most powerful was naturally Qinghua Page's sovereign bloodline. Within Zhao Fu's body, the insects' bloodlines turned into different insects, and the chaos race bloodlines turned into different people. Ordinary insects and people were only a few meters tall, while Qinghua Page's bloodline was 100 meters tall. It was also a person, a green-haired elder wearing long robes. This green-haired elder was most likely someone with an early-stage sovereign bloodline, and he was Qinghua Page's ancestor. All of the bloodlines would revert to their ancestors, as their bloodline power came from their ancestors. Boom! The green-haired elder was the first to attack Zhao Fu. His palm gave off an azure energy as it ferociously slammed towards Zhao Fu, seeming to be able to shatter a mountain. Sensing the Emperor's aura from the green-haired elder's body, the other insects and people retreated to the side, not daring to interfere. Facing this measly sovereign bloodline power, Zhao Fu gave a trace of a cold smile and vigorously punched out. A thin fist energy shot out, instantly shattering the massive azure energy. It turned into a shockwave and sent the green-haired elder flying back. The green-haired elder roared, and the countless insects and people in the surroundings charged at Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu did not feel any fear and once again summoned a blood lake. Countless blood-red hands stretched out from the blood lake, dragging the insects and beasts into the blood lake. With the advantage of an origin bloodline, Zhao Fu could easily refine many bloodlines, including that sovereign bloodline. Chapter 2635. Book 1, Book 18. Boom! Rumbling rang out as countless rays of blood-colored light shot out. An evil, twisted energy filled the cave. Feng Xinsha and the others were already used to it, but Hong Yin and Ziyan's expressions changed. They instinctively felt fear of this energy. The two of them were curious as to what this terrifying power of Zhao Fu's was, but they didn't dare to ask. Thinking about it, they didn't find it strange. After all, Zhao Fu was a member of the Source race. That was a level that they couldn't compare to. Chi-chi-chi! Countless screeches rang out. Numerous eyes appeared in the air, densely packed together. There were bug eyes, beast eyes, human eyes, and all sorts of other eyes. Each of them radiated a crazed and cruel gaze, twisting and turning in the air as they stared at the surroundings. Facing so many terrifying eyes, Ericina and the others felt their hairs stand on end. After a while, those eyes slowly faded into the air. The blood-colored light and power also slowly faded. Zhao Fu opened his eyes. After refining this many bloodlines, Zhao Fu had successfully reached the second stage of the evil immortal bloodline. He had grasped another ability. This ability was related to the eyes that had appeared before. Zhao Fu could attach his eyes to any object, such as ordinary rocks, trees, flowers, birds, beasts, and even humans. Those things that were fused into his eyes would become evil eye creatures. These creatures would have different forms, depending on what they were fused with. If it was fused with a stone, the stone would be given life and become a stone monster. If it was fused with a tree, the tree would also become a tree-related monster. If it was fused with a blade, it would also become a blade-related monster. Although these monsters looked different, they all had one thing in common. They only had one eye. That eye was the source of their power, but it was also their weakness. Destroying that eye could kill them. Furthermore, they were living things and could grow. They even had their own emotions and memories. The strongest aspect of the evil immortal bloodline was that it could create life. That was something that not many cultivation techniques could do. Even the 6 Desires immortal art that Zhao Fu cultivated was unable to do so. Zhao Fu got up from the ground and looked at the women as he smiled and said, "Let's go." Right now, Zhao Fu had 2 things to do. The first was to continue collecting essence blood, and the second was to collect bronze shards. This was quite difficult, so Zhao Fu wanted to ask around to see if there was any information about bronze shards. Right now, Zhao Fu only knew that it was an origin armament, but he didn't know anything else. Hong Yin said, "I want to send the Sword of Snatching leader out." Zhao Fu thought for a moment and said, "No problem. What's the use of this sword? Why do you value it so much?" Hong Yin explained, "This sword hides a huge secret. Our people have been searching for it." Zhao Fu asked with some interest, "What secret?" Hong Yin replied, "This sword contains the final level of our legacy art, and it also contains the cultivation experiences of our #1 expert. It's also the key to opening the treasure left behind by that #1 expert." Zhao Fu wasn't very interested in their legacy art or cultivation experiences, but he was interested in the treasure. He asked, "How high was your #1 expert's cultivation back then?" Hong Yin replied, "Higher being realm." Zhao Fu thought about it and asked, "Where is the treasure?" Hong Yin felt quite confused as she replied, "It's in our faction." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Since we don't have anywhere to go, how about we go to your faction? You can also bring the sword back to your faction." Hong Yin started to feel quite confused as to why Zhao Fu cared about the treasure. After all, a high and mighty chaos child like him shouldn't be interested in such things. However, after hearing this, she understood that Zhao Fu was quite interested in the treasure. Hong Yin started to feel quite worried. She was worried that Zhao Fu would do something detrimental to her faction. Zhao Fu could tell that she was worried and smiled as he said, "Since you've become my woman, I won't do anything to harm your faction. Also, I'll only take some things that are useful to me and won't touch anything else." Hong Yin thought about it and nodded, "Mm." Following this, Zhao Fu led his group to Do Valley. Do Valley was quite far away from this region, and it would take some time to get there. On a grassy plain, a skinny young man carried a young man on his back as he ran. The skinny young man was the one from the auction, and he was called Lan Qingyuan. The young man on his back was 17 or 18 years old, and half of his face was covered with something that looked like an insect's carapace. It also flowed with mucus, making him look quite terrifying and disgusting. He was Lan Qingyuan's little brother, Lan Banyuan, and his current appearance was due to the insect disease. Back then, when Zhao Fu told Erisina and the others to leave, Lan Qingyuan also left the Alliance City with them. Because he needed medicinal pills to save his little brother, he hurried back to his residence. However, just as he separated from Erisina and the others, he was targeted by some people with ill intentions. These people didn't dare to attack Erisina and the others, but they didn't care about Lan Qingyuan at all. Lan Qingyuan's insect life pill was worth a few million gold coins. Adding on to the 5 million gold coins that he originally had, he had more than 10 million gold coins, which was very tempting to them. When Lan Qingyuan went to a secluded area, they attacked and tried to kill her. Lan Qingyuan wasn't weak, and after suffering some injuries, she ran back. She didn't have time to heal her little brother, and she just ran away with her little brother. These people didn't want to let them go, so they continued to chase them until now. Lan Banyuan said weakly, "Big brother, don't worry about me. Throw me down and run." Lan Qingyuan was covered in sweat as he comforted him. "Little brother, big brother has already obtained the insect life pill. As long as we can find a safe place, I can save you. You won't have to suffer from this disease anymore. At that time, big brother will take you to all sorts of places to play and eat all sorts of delicious food." Lan Banyuan said weakly, "Big brother, I can't hold on for much longer. Give that medicinal pill to someone who needs it." Lan Banyuan's situation was very serious. Just as Lan Qingyuan had said, his little brother's insect disease had reached the late stage and he was about to die. Hearing this, Lan Qingyuan's nose turned sour and he couldn't help but cry. "Little brother, you have to hold on. That medicinal pill can definitely save you. Big brother only has you, so big brother definitely won't let you die." Lan Banyuan's pale face revealed a trace of a smile as he hugged Lan Qingyuan's neck. "Big brother, I really like you and am very happy to be your little brother. However, I really don't need to keep causing trouble for you." Lan Qingyuan shook his head and comforted him. "This is what big brother should do. Don't feel sorry." Chapter 2636. Book 1. Chapter 81. They're right in front of us. Chase after them. A group of people appeared behind Lan Qingyuan as one of them yelled at Lan Qingyuan. Lan Qingyuan's expression fell, and he hurriedly ran forwards. Those people also quickly chased after him. After running for a while, Lan Qingyuan started to slow down. He had used up too much power and was almost out of strength. The group of people did not slow down and continued to chase after Lan Qingyuan, and the distance between them became smaller and smaller. "Big bro, give up on me. I don't want you to die," Lan Banyuan said weakly, feeling guilty. Lan Qingyuan said resolutely, "Big bro won't give up on you. We've depended on each other since we were young. At most, big bro will die with you today." Shing! Those people had already caught up, and a sharp saber light slashed towards Lan Qingyuan from behind. Lan Qingyuan hurriedly dodged to the side, avoiding this attack. However, a powerful force hit Lan Qingyuan, sending both Lan Qingyuan and Lan Banyuan flying backwards. Lan Banyuan crashed to the ground and fainted, while Lan Qingyuan hurriedly ran to his little brother's side and took out a sword. The group of people surrounded the two of them, and a ferocious-looking big man laughed as he said, "Boy, you're quite good at running. I've had to chase you for so long. Why don't you keep running?" Lan Qingyuan thought about it. He did not have much strength left and was surrounded by people, so it was impossible for him to escape. As such, he said, "If I'm willing to hand over all of my things, can you let me and my little brother go?" The big man savagely laughed as he said, "If you want to keep dreaming, then stop dreaming. Today, you and your little brother must die here. Your elder doesn't want to waste words with you. Let's kill him together and split the money." Lan Qingyuan immediately took out a medicinal bottle and said, "This is an insect life pill. It's worth a few million gold coins. If you dare to come up, I'll destroy it." This caused the group of people to stop. That insect life pill could be sold for 7 or 8 million gold coins at the auction house, and they were chasing after launching Yuan for money. They naturally did not want to see such a valuable item destroyed. The big man thought for a moment before saying, "We can let you go, but you must hand over everything on you." The big man did not want to let launching Yuan go, and he planned to wait for launching Yuan to hand over everything before killing him. Launching Yuan replied, "I agree." The burly man laughed and said, "Then hurry up and hand over everything." Launching Yuan said coldly, "I won't hand it over so easily. I'll put it somewhere. You guys go somewhere far away and wait for us to leave." The burly man snorted, "No, what if you run away?" Launching Yuan said, "We can set up a spirit formation. I will put the item in the spirit formation." The burly man thought for a moment. "Sure." Afterward, Launching set up a 10-meter-wide magic formation on the ground, placed a storage ring in the center, and placed a medicine bottle on top. At this moment, the big man opened his mouth and said, "Open the medicine bottle and let us have a look. Also, take out all the money." The burly man did not trust Launching Yuan. Launching Yuan's expression changed. He wanted to exchange the bottle. He could give up the money, but this pill was his brother's life. He definitely didn't want to give it up. Facing this sort of situation, if he did not hand it over, he and his little brother would both die here. As such, Launching Yuan made up his mind and opened the bottle of medicine and took out all of his money. A large amount of gold coins piled up into a small mountain, giving off a golden light. Now, they could only hand over these things. As long as they could keep their lives, they would still have a chance in the future. Launching Yuan said angrily, "Is it okay now?" Seeing that there were no problems with the pill and money, the big man smiled in satisfaction and said, "It's okay now, you can go." Launching Yuan carried the unconscious Lan Banyuan and walked to the side. The others did not do anything to Launching Yuan because this magic formation was controlled by Launching Yuan. If they attacked, Launching Yuan would destroy everything. After walking for a while, Launching Yuan suddenly ran to the side and activated the magic formation. As the magic formation activated, a terrifying power spread out. The big man hurriedly pressed a hand against the ground, and a massive wave of power spread out, stopping the magic formation. He let out a sigh of relief. Luckily, he had been prepared. A young man said, "Big bro, should we continue chasing?" The big man looked in the direction that Launching Yuan had disappeared and said, "Don't chase. Now that we've obtained the item, let's not waste our energy." Launching Yuan carried his little brother on his back, worried that the big man and the others would catch up, so he quickly ran and did not dare to rest. A few hours later, after confirming that no one was chasing them, Launching Yuan stopped to rest. Looking at the unconscious Lan Banyuan, Launching Yuan said, "Little bro, now that we've escaped, Big Bro will definitely help you obtain an insect life pill." Suddenly, Lan Banyuan cried out in pain as something started to grow on the other side of his face. His life force became weaker and weaker. Launching Yuan felt quite startled and sent some power into Lan Banyuan's body, wanting to stop that thing from growing. If that thing grew, his little brother would definitely die. However, his power was completely useless. An insect shell grew on the other side of Lan Banyuan's face, and some mucus flowed out, causing Lan Banyuan's aura to become weaker. Launching Yuan powerlessly hugged his little brother in pain and despair and started to cry. He did not want his little brother to die. He really did not want his little brother to die. However, he was powerless to change anything and could only watch as his little brother died. He hated those people for stealing his things and hated himself for not having enough power. Why couldn't he be a bit stronger? That way, he would have been able to keep the insect life pill. "Why are you here?" A voice sounded out, causing Launching Yuan to feel quite startled. He hurriedly looked to the side and saw Zhao Fu and the others appear in front of him. The person who had spoken was Skeletal Beauty. A trace of hope appeared in Launching Yuan's heart. He immediately knelt on the ground and kowtowed, begging, "Sir, please save my little brother." Zhao Fu and the others were just passing by, and Skeletal Beauty said that they had heard Lan Qingyuan's voice, so they had come to take a look. Skeletal Beauty said in confusion, "Didn't I give you the pill? Why didn't you save your little brother?" Lan Qingyuan told everyone about what had just happened. Skeletal Beauty felt quite angry and looked at Zhao Fu. She could not do anything about the insect transformation disease, but perhaps Zhao Fu had the ability. Zhao Fu was much more powerful than her. Zhao Fu looked at Lan Banyuan, who had a weak aura, and said, "I can try, but I don't have the confidence to save him." Lan Qingyuan said gratefully, "No problem. No matter what the outcome is, I will be grateful to Sir." Zhao Fu walked over to Lan Banyuan's side and looked at the insect shell growing on his body. Apart from his face, there were insect shells everywhere else. It was the first time that Zhao Fu had encountered such an illness. Chapter 2637. Book 1, Chapter 82, translated by Hypersheep 325, edited by Mike. Here, Zhao Fu stretched out a hand, and a wave of power flowed into Lan Banyuan's body. This was Zhao Fu's source energy, one of the top-tier powers in the world. With the help of this source energy, Lan Banyuan's body gave off traces of black aura, and his aura gradually became stronger. Zhao Fu frowned. Source energy could save Lan Banyuan, but the insect disease was not so easy to get rid of. Seeing that her little brother's aura had become stronger, Lan Qingyuan's face became ruddy, and she hurriedly knelt on the ground and said, "Thank you, sir." Zhao Fu retracted his hand and said, "Don't thank me yet. Even though your little brother is fine now, the insect disease has not been cured, and I need some time to examine him." Lan Qingyuan said gratefully, "I understand, but I still want to thank Sir." Zhao Fu carefully examined Lan Banyuan's body. This insect disease felt quite strange and had fused with Lan Banyuan's life source energy. If he forcefully removed it, he might die. Painted eyebrows looked at Zhao Fu squatting on the ground, earnestly saving people, and said softly, "I like the way you're helping others. It would be good if you could be like this normally. You wouldn't be so domineering and cold-blooded, always bullying women." Zhao Fu looked up at her and said, "Do I not treat you well normally?" Skeletal Eyebrows shook her head and said, "No, I'm saying that you're more attractive like this, and that women will like you more." Zhao Fu did not mind and said, "I don't need it." Skeletal Eyebrows pouted and felt a trace of displeasure, but did not say anything. Shui Mu smiled as she said, "No matter what, I'll like Master." Feng Xinsha looked at the two of them and understood that their hearts had been subdued by Zhao Fu. However, she would not be subdued so easily, even if she often received Zhao Fu's favor. At that moment, Zhao Fu thought of a method, which was to use the 8 forbidden blood art to extract the insect disease from Lan Banyuan's body. Zhao Fu placed a hand on Lan Banyuan's chest, and 8 different blood-colored runes appeared, releasing faint blood vessels, and slowly fused into Lan Banyuan's chest. What happened next surprised Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu didn't even use the 8 forbidden blood technique to extract the zeroization sickness. The zeroization sickness surged towards Zhao Fu's palm. Zhao Fu hesitated for a moment and did not stop the insect transformation sickness. Instead, he allowed the insect transformation sickness to enter his body. The insect shell growing on Lan Banyuan's body disappeared, but Zhao Fu's body began to grow insect shells. The first was the hand that was pressing down on Lan Banyuan's chest. The crowd was shocked to see this. Aracena was the first to speak, saying anxiously, "Zhao Fu, stop." Everyone else had never thought that Zhao Fu would infuse the zeroization sickness into his body for Lan Banyuan. Hua Gumei's eyes became moist. She had never thought that Zhao Fu would be so selfless. Lan Qingyin knelt on the ground in gratitude and guilt. Was Zhao Fu that great? Was he doing this for someone he did not know? The answer was definitely not. Zhao Fu said, "Don't worry, I'm fine." The insect shell growing on Zhao Fu's body quickly disappeared. In actuality, even without the zeroization sickness, Zhao Fu could have made his body grow insect shells. The zeroization sickness did not affect Zhao Fu at all. Instead, It gave Zhao Fu an additional ability. After the zeroization, sickness entered Zhao Fu's body. It turned into a small beetle. Zhao Fu could use this zeroization sickness to infect others. Anyone who was injured by Zhao Fu would also be affected by the zeroization sickness. Moreover, this ability could grow. Zhao Fu could turn himself into a source of infection and infect everyone in an area, causing them to be affected by the zeroization sickness. Zhao Fu retracted his hand, and Lan Banyuan's body returned to normal. With the help of the source energy, Lan Banyuan gradually woke up. Looking at Zhao Fu, Lan Banyuan looked quite confused. Lan Qingyuan smiled as she said, "First, hurry and thanks, sir. He saved you and cured your sickness." Hearing this, Lan Banyuan said weakly, "Thanks, sir, for saving my life." Zhao Fu lightly nodded and got up from the ground before walking towards Erisina and the other women. Lan Qingyuan picked up her little brother and examined Lan Banyuan's body. Zhao Fu said, "His sickness has been cured. Let's go." The women all nodded. "Sir, wait." Lan Qingyuan called out when she saw that Zhao Fu was about to leave. Zhao Fu turned and looked at her as he asked, "Is there anything else?" Lan Qingyuan said, "I don't know if sir is collecting those bronze shards. I remember that I have one at home, but I'm not sure if it's the one you're looking for. However, that one is abnormally tough, and even with my full power, I was unable to destroy it." Zhao Fu looked quite confused, and a trace of a smile appeared on his face as he asked, "Where is it?" Lan Qingyuan replied, "It's at where I lived before. I left in a hurry and left it by the side, so I did not keep it with me. Sir, let me remind you that I really don't know if it's the one you're looking for, but I feel that it's quite similar." Zhao Fu gave a slight smile as he said, I know. Take me to where you are." Lan Qingyuan looked at her little brother and said, "Sir, can you wait for a while and let my little brother recover some strength before going?" Zhao Fu threw a bottle of medicinal pills to Lan Qingyuan and said, "Sure, this medicinal pill can help your little brother recover." Lan Qingyuan accepted the medicinal pill and thanked him gratefully before feeding it to her little brother. With the help of the medicinal pill, Lan Banyuan's body quickly recovered. Zhao Fu and the others sat by the side and waited. 2 hours later, Lan Banyuan's identity was restored. Looking at Erisina and the other women's peerlessly beautiful appearances, he looked quite shy. After personally kneeling to thank Zhao Fu, he obediently stayed by his big brother's side. Zhao Fu and the others flew towards that region. That region was most likely quite dangerous because Zhao Fu had appeared there. All the factions were searching for Zhao Fu. Luckily, Lan Qingyuan's place was quite remote, so there should not be too much of a problem. Half a day later, Zhao Fu and the others came to a small courtyard. This was where Lan Qingyuan had lived. Lan Qingyuan had Zhao Fu wait for a while before walking into a storeroom and starting to search. 10 or so minutes later, she came out and handed a 2-inch-long bronze shard to Zhao Fu. "Sir, take a look and see if this is the bronze shard you're looking for." Zhao Fu took the shard. It was said that the bronze shard that Zhao Fu had refined could sense other bronze shards. If there was a reaction, it would be the bronze shard that Zhao Fu needed. If there was no reaction, it would not be what Zhao Fu was looking for. Zhao Fu controlled the bronze shard within his body to give off a primal chaos aura. Chapter 2638. Book 1. Chapter 83. The bronze shard within Zhao Fu's body gave off traces of golden aura, and everyone looked at the 2-inch bronze shard in Zhao Fu's hand. The shard lightly trembled and gave off an incredibly weak golden light. It was even weaker than the light that Zhao Fu's bronze shard gave off. However, since it was reacting, it meant that it was the origin armament that Zhao Fu was looking for. Moreover, this bronze shard had the ability to automatically repair itself, so it required a large amount of origin power. Zhao Fu smiled and put it away. It was not convenient to repair this place, so Zhao Fu would only repair it later. Erisina smiled as she asked, "Is this the bronze shard you're looking for?" Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. Everyone else smiled, and Lan Qingyuan inwardly let out a sigh of relief. Zhao Fu had done him a great favor, and he wanted to repay Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "Let's leave this place." Zhao Fu and the others had planned to go to the valley, but they had never thought that they would meet Lan Qingyin and Lan Qingyuan and obtain a bronze shard. Now that they had obtained it, it was time to continue to the valley. Ericina suddenly said, "Zhao Fu, since there are 2 bronze shards here, I wonder if there are 3. Should we stay and look for them?" Hearing her say this, Zhao Fu realized that he had not expected this. Since there were 2 bronze shards here, perhaps there would be a 3rd, 4th, or even all of the bronze mirror shards here. If he went somewhere else, he would never be able to obtain them. Zhao Fu looked at Lan Qingyuan and asked, "How did you obtain this bronze shard?" Lan Qingyuan said, "I'm not sure. This bronze shard was something that my little brother brought back when he was young." Everyone turned to look at Lan Banyuan. Lan Banyuan thought about it before replying, "I was playing at the foot of a mountain and found this bronze shard, so I brought it back." Zhao Fu asked, "Where is that mountain?" Lan Banyuan replied, "It's a small mountain nearby. I can bring you there." Zhao Fu nodded. "If you can help me find a 3rd bronze fragment, I will definitely give you a lot of benefits." Lan Banyuan smiled and said, "There's no need. My lord saved my life, so this is what I should do." Painted Eyebrows looked at Lan Banyuan with her beautiful eyes and smiled as she said, "You're quite grateful. I didn't waste my energy to save you." Lan Banyuan blushed in the face of Skeletal Beauty's gaze. The group soon arrived at the foot of the small mountain. The small mountain was only a few dozen meters tall, and there were some small trees and weeds. It looked very ordinary, and there was nothing special about it. Lan Banyuan said, "This is where I found a bronze shard." Zhao Fu walked up and looked at the small mountain. Zhao Fu did not want to search bit by bit, so he half squatted down and pressed a hand against the ground. The bronze shard within his body gave off an intense light as a wave of chaos essence energy flowed out from Zhao Fu's palm, and a golden wave of light spread out. There was no reaction from the surroundings. Zhao Fu frowned, and another wave of golden light spread out, but there was still no reaction. Zhao Fu once again controlled the bronze shard, and a wave of chaos essence energy spread out. A golden wave of light spread out, but there was still no reaction. There most likely was no bronze shard here. If there was, there would definitely be a reaction. If there was no one within a 10-kilometer radius, then he would try within a few 100 kilometers. Boom! An explosion sounded out as a massive wave of source energy flowed out from Zhao Fu's palm. Countless golden tubes spread out, and golden waves of light rippled out, giving off a shocking aura. In the end, there was still no reaction, and Zhao Fu sighed. There most likely were no bronze shards here. Zhao Fu said, "There's none here. Let's go somewhere else." Zhao Fu had already searched this place, and he wanted to go somewhere else. Perhaps there were other places, but Zhao Fu could not openly search like this. If others sensed this chaos essence energy, Zhao Fu's position would be exposed. Seeing that Zhao Fu and the others were about to leave, Lan Qingyuan felt a bit hesitant, but he still said, "Sir, we brothers have nowhere to go. Can we follow you?" Zhao Fu started to think. Even though these 2 brothers were quite good, they were men and he had too many women by his side, so it would not be convenient to bring them along. Ericina said, "Bring them along. We can't return to the Alliance City, but we can have them go in and ask around." Zhao Fu thought about it and said, "All right, you 2 brothers can follow me." Lan Qingyuan had long since known that Zhao Fu was the son of Essence. Following such a person was equivalent to reaching the heavens in a single step, and he said happily and excitedly, "Thank you, sir. We'll definitely be loyal to sir and won't disappoint sir." Lan Banyuan also looked at Skeletal Beauty happily. He had unknowingly developed a good impression of Skeletal Beauty, and perhaps he had fallen in love with her. However, Skeletal Beauty's beautiful eyes were focused on Zhao Fu as she looked at Zhao Fu with her beautiful eyes. Zhao Fu stayed at the place where Lan Qingyuan and his brothers lived, while Lan Qingyuan and his brothers went to the Alliance City to gather information. They mainly wanted to find any strange places or things that had happened there, as there might be bronze shards. Lan Qingyuan brought back many pieces of information, and Zhao Fu looked through them one by one. The first place was the most likely place, as it was said that a terrifying battle had happened there between a few experts, which had caused massive destruction. That place was now completely desolate and did not seem to have any signs of life. Zhao Fu wondered if those experts had anything to do with the bronze shards, so he chose to go there first. In the end, they did not. The second place was a valley. It was said that there were many treasures hidden there, and people had found many good things in the past. Zhao Fu went there, but there was not a single treasure hunter there. The ground was filled with holes, and Zhao Fu looked around. There was indeed nothing there, and it was most likely that the treasures had been taken by the people in the past. Following this, Zhao Fu went to the third place, which was near a river. It was said that there was a terrifying monster there, and Zhao Fu went there as well. He killed the water monster there, which looked like a catfish. It had 2 arms and a pair of legs, and it was at the world realm. Zhao Fu's harvest from this trip was the water monster's bloodline, and there was nothing else. Afterwards, Zhao Fu went to all sorts of places and confirmed that there would not be a third bronze shard in this region, so he could only go to other places to search. Zhao Fu and his group followed their original plan and flew towards Do Valley. Not long after, a massive aura descended in front of Zhao Fu and his group. Chapter 2639. Book 1, Chapter 84. There were 3 beautiful women. One had long silver hair and looked quite similar to Ziyin. One wore a red dress and looked quite similar to Hong Yin, and one had long icy hair and a graceful figure. The moment they arrived, they looked at Ziyin and Hong Yin. Seeing the 3 beautiful women, Ziyin and Hong Yin walked up and happily called out, "Mother!" Zhao Fu was not surprised by their identities, as he already knew who they were. The red-dressed woman was called Hong Qian, and she smiled as she said, "So you're fine? You made us worry for nothing." Hong Yin and Ziyin looked at the 3 beautiful women in confusion. The silver-haired woman was called Ziyu, and she smiled as she said, "We heard that something shocking had happened in this region, and we were worried that you would be in danger, so we hurried over to find you." Hong Yin looked at Zhao Fu. The thing that Ziyu was talking about was the appearance of a primal chaos child, and Zhao Fu was that primal chaos child. The ice-haired woman was called Bing Qingqing, and she asked, "Did you obtain that sword?" Hong Qian and Ziyu looked at Hong Yin and Ziyu. Hong Yin nodded her head and took out the sword of snatching collar. "This is the sword." Hong Qian took the sword and looked at it carefully. Indeed, this is the sword of the number 1 expert from back then. With it, we can cultivate the final level of the cultivation technique and open the treasury. Ziyu smiled as she said, "Since we've obtained the sword, let's go back." At that moment, Bing Qingqing looked at Zhao Fu and the others and asked, "Who are they?" Hong Qian and Ziyu realized that there were other people. Just then, they had been completely focused on their daughter and had not paid attention to Zhao Fu and the others. Hong Yin said shyly, "That's our man, the others are his women, and the other 2 men are his followers." Hong Qian looked quite confused. "He's your man?" Hong Yin shyly nodded. Ziyu looked at her daughter. Ziyin said, "He's also my man, and we're all his women." Ziyu frowned. "What's going on? Why did you find a man after going out?" Hong Yin and Ziyin looked at Zhao Fu. They could not say that Zhao Fu had forcefully taken them, nor did they dare to say who Zhao Fu was. The 3 beautiful women coldly looked at Zhao Fu. Their intuition told them that Zhao Fu had done something to their daughters, or else their daughters would not have found a man. Facing the 3 women's gazes, Zhao Fu did not feel any fear at all. The 3 women only had Emperor Heaven Realm cultivation, and he smiled as he said, "Your 2 daughters like me, so they became my women." Zhao Fu was incredibly shameless. Not only did he forcefully take Hong Yin and Ziyin, but he also said that they liked him, even though they were willing to become his women. Zhao Qingqing, Zichen said, "True." Editor, if he dares to bully you, I'll take care of him for you right now. Hong Yin did not want to fight with her mother and Zhao Fu, so she hurriedly said, "He's very good to us and did not do anything to us." Only then did Ziyu feel at ease and looked at Zhao Fu. Who are you? Do you know who my daughter is? Zhao Fu replied, I'm just a minor figure. I also know who your daughter is. Ziyu coldly harumphed. You're just a minor figure. Not only are you not worthy of my daughter, but you also have so many women. I hope you can give me an answer. Zhao Fu asked, what answer? Ziyu said coldly, first, give up on your other women and marry into our family, and we'll give you riches. Second, obediently leave and don't disturb our daughter in the future. Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, what if I don't choose? Ziyu said coldly, then don't blame us for being impolite to you. Don't think that just because you're my daughter's man, I won't act against you. Someone like you is not worthy of being my daughter's man. Ziyin knew about Zhao Fu's identity, and she hurriedly said, Mother, don't say that. I'm not worthy of him. Hearing her daughter's shameless words, Ziyu felt quite angry. Do you know who you are? How can you say such a thing? Hong Yin said, we clearly know who we are, but with our status, we are indeed not worthy of him. Even though Hong Yin and Ziyin were from an emperor-level faction. So what if they were from an emperor-level faction? Those words caused Hong Yin and the other two women to feel quite startled. They looked at Zhao Fu and Bing Qingqing said, just who are you? Zhao Fu smiled as he said, you want to know? If you become my woman, I'll tell you. Bing Qingqing said furiously, impudent. Boom! Bing Qingqing slammed out with her palm, and a wave of energy mixed with wind and snow ferociously slammed toward Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu smiled as he slashed out with his finger, sending out a black sword light that slashed apart that wave of energy, causing it to turn into two streams of cold light that dissipated. Bing Qingqing and the other two women's expressions fell as they cried out, You're also at the Emperor Heaven Realm. Zhao Fu lightly laughed and gave off a trace of domineeringness as he said, You didn't expect this, did you? I'll give you two choices. Either voluntarily become my woman and serve me, or passively become my woman and serve me. Bing Qingqing looked furious as she said, Don't think that we'll be afraid of you, just because you're at the Emperor Heaven Realm. The three of us will attack together and teach this arrogant fellow a lesson. Hong Qian and Ziyu also looked quite angry. They had never thought that Zhao Fu would dare to say such a thing to them. Ziyin and Hong Yin hurriedly tried to stop him, but the three women had already started to attack Zhao Fu from three different directions toward Zhao Fu. Erisina rolled her eyes at Zhao Fu. She knew about Zhao Fu's hobbies. Everyone else retreated to the side. Zhao Fu gave a faint smile and stood where he was, not moving at all. Bing Qingqing's palm gave off an icy aura as it slammed towards Zhao Fu from the front. Zhao Fu leaned to the side and easily dodged this attack, while Hong Qian grabbed at Zhao Fu from the left. Zhao Fu grabbed her wrist and pulled her into his embrace as he hugged Hong Qian, causing her face to become red. Seeing this, Ziyu was infuriated and attacked with her full strength. Her fist brought with it a powerful gale as it punched towards Zhao Fu, seeming to be able to shatter a mountain. Bang! A muffled explosion sounded out as that terrifying fist was easily caught by Zhao Fu with a single hand, causing Ziyu to look quite confused. Whoosh! The temperature in the surroundings plummeted as Bing Qingqing vigorously attacked towards Zhao Fu from behind. She had only wanted to teach Zhao Fu a lesson, but she used all of her strength as her palm brought with it a massive icy wind as it slammed toward Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu did not dodge and instead gave off a powerful aura, forming a black dragon inscription barrier that blocked that icy wind. Chapter 2640. Book 1, Chapter 855, translated by Hypersheet 325, edited by Mike. Here, Zhao Fu grabbed Ziyu's fist and pulled her into his embrace. No matter how she struggled, she could not break free. At the same time, the golden pupil in his left eye spun, and many chains shot out from the air, lightly binding Bing. In just a few moments, the three women were captured by Zhao Fu. The difference in power between them was just that great. Ziyu furiously struggled and said, Bastard! Let go of me. Zhao Fu ignored her, and a wave of 6 desires demonic chi flowed out and entered the 3 women's bodies. Hong Yin and Ziyu begged, don't harm their mothers. However, Zhao Fu did not harm them. After staying here for half a day, Zhao Fu prepared to leave. Bing Qingqing and the 3 women's faces were red as they hatefully glared at Zhao Fu. Hong Yin and Zi Yin were quite embarrassed. They had never thought that something like this would happen. The other women's expressions did not change, while the Lan brothers watched from afar. Zhao Fu looked at the 3 women and smiled as he said, pack up. We're going to your Steel Valley. Bing Qingqing said coldly, why are you going to our Steel Valley? Hong Yin said softly, husband wants to see if there's anything he needs in the Steel Valley. He has no other goal. Zi said angrily, that scum also treated the 2 of you like this, right? How could you really treat that scum as your man? Hong Yin said embarrassedly, Auntie Z, husband is so perfect and has such a noble status. My husband is so perfect, and his status is even more noble. Moreover, we are very happy staying by his side. You can't resist, so you might as well submit to him. It's useless even if you insist. Think about how you were just now. Ziyu's face became red, and she glared at Zhao Fu. Hong Qin looked at Zhao Fu and said, can you tell us who you are now? Ziyin smiled as she said, he's the primal chaos child. Hearing this, the 3 women were shocked. This bastard was the primal chaos child who had shaken the entire primal chaos world. Bing Qing said seriously, are you sure? Ziyin smiled. When he caused those fluctuations, we were right beside him. The others only arrived later, so of course we can confirm his identity. I said coldly, I heard that the child of primordial chaos is the savior of the primordial chaos world, and that he will lead the primordial chaos world to prosperity. I never thought that he would be such a person. Calling him the son of bastards is more appropriate. Zhao Fu said with a smile, call me whatever you want. I like all 3 of you very much. Follow me from now on. I said softly, stop dreaming. We all have husbands. Don't think that we'll submit to you just because you're the son of chaos. Zhao Fu did not mind and said with a smile, it's up to you. It's getting late, so let's hurry up. I still need to collect bronze fragments and insect blood. Bing Qingqing could not help but ask, why are you collecting so many things? Ziyin smiled and said, he's not just the child of chaos. He's also the successor of the first evil immortal, and the bronze shard he collected is an origin weapon. Bing Qingqing and the others once again looked shocked. They knew about the legend of the first evil immortal, but how terrifying would the first evil immortal and the origin race be? The result would be unimaginable. Following this, the women packed up, and Zhao Fu called Lan Qingyuan and Zhao Fu back before flying towards Do Valley. After a day or so, Zhao Fu and the others arrived at Do Valley. As an Emperor-class faction, Do Valley was indeed quite powerful. It was as big as 30 or so worlds, and its basic forces were at stage 4. It also nurtured a type of insect and had a few peak stage Dao realm experts. Zhao Fu found out that Bing Qingqing and the others were Do Valley's elders. Their statuses were quite high, but they were not the ones in charge of Do Valley. After entering Do Valley, Zhao Fu asked, where is the treasure trove? Zhao Fu's goal here was the treasure trove. He was not interested in anything else. Ziyu glared at Zhao Fu and said, why are you in such a hurry? The treasure trove is not as easy to open as you think. Zhao Fu asked, tell me the specifics of the treasure trove. Ziyu said, the treasure trove was left behind by the number 1 expert back then, and it's at the center of Do Valley. In order to open the treasure trove, someone with the snatching sword must break through 3 barriers. Only then can the treasure trove be opened. Zhao Fu frowned and said, it's that complicated? What's inside the treasure trove? If there's nothing too precious, I'll be leaving. Hearing that it was quite complicated, Zhao Fu did not want to waste any more time here. Moreover, after opening the treasure trove, there might not be anything that Zhao Fu wanted, and Zhao Fu had many things to do. Bing lightly harumphed and said, hurry up and leave. I'll also tell you that the person with the snatching sword must be someone from the younger generation and must be very powerful. Otherwise, if they cannot break through the 3 barriers, they will not be able to open the number 1 expert's treasure trove. Zhao Fu felt quite displeased, and he lightly pulled Bing into his embrace and bullied her. Bing's face was slightly red as she said softly, "We don't know what's inside, but there should be a legacy left behind by the number 1 expert. However, it won't be of much use to you." Zhao Fu was not interested at all and said, "Then go back and pack up and come with me." Hong Yin said, "Husband, do you really not want to open the treasure trove?" Back then, the number 1 expert in Dove Valley collected many treasures, and perhaps the origin weapon you're looking for is among them. Apart from the origin weapon, you might be able to obtain other useful things. Hearing this, Zhao Fu started to think and made a decision. "All right, I'll stay here for a while and see if your treasure trove can be opened." Ziyin smiled as she said, "Then you'll have to watch our performance." Following this, the group continued onwards and came to a mountain. There was a stage here, and there were many stone pillars with diagrams of battles engraved on them. There was also a 3-meter-tall, 2-meter-wide stone door on the stage. This was the door to the treasure trove. Apart from these things, there were also many soldiers giving off powerful auras standing guard, all of them looking serious and resolute. When Zhao Fu and the others came to the stage, they were stopped by these soldiers. The leader of the soldiers asked Bing Qing and the others, "Elders, what have you come here for? This place is off limits to everyone." Bing Qing said, "We've obtained the Do Ling sword, and we're about to open the number 1 expert's treasure trove." The soldier said, "Elders, please wait here. This is a major matter, and we can't make the decision on our own. We need to report this to the higher-ups." Bing Qing lightly nodded. The soldier immediately left, and after a while the soldier said, "Elders, the other elders want you to go over and hold a meeting." Bing Qing and the others thought for a moment before replying, "We understand." Following this, Bing Qing and the others went to attend the meeting, while Hong Yin brought Zhao Fu and the others to where they were staying. Chapter 2641. Book 1. Chapter 86. An hour later, Bing Qingqing, Ziyu, and Hong Qian returned. Apart from them, there were 3 middle-aged men walking beside them. One was tall and skinny, and he was called Bai Lang. One was dressed in purple, and he was called Hong He. Bing Qingqing had said that they all had men, and she had not lied to Zhao Fu. The 3 men were their husbands. Bai Lang walked into the room and looked at Zhao Fu and the others as he asked, "Who are you?" In order to avoid trouble, Zhao Fu said, "We're Hong Yan's friends." Bai Lang smiled as he said, "If you're Hong Yan's friends, then stay in Do Valley for a few more days and see the local customs." Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. Bing Qingqing bitterly glared at Zhao Fu. Hong He looked at skeletal eyebrows and the other women and gave an interested smile, but he did not say anything because Hong Qian was by his side. Hong Yin turned her face away, not daring to look at Zhao Fu. They only treated Zhao Fu and the others as Hong Yan's friends and did not pay much attention to Zhao Fu and the others as they left. Zhao Fu and the others temporarily stayed there. At night, the 12 moons gave off a bright moonlight, and there were a few wisps of clouds in the deep blue sky. 3 beautiful women lay in Zhao Fu's embrace, their faces rosy and beautiful, while the other women were on the other side. Zhao Fu looked at them and asked, "Why are you holding a meeting?" Bing Qingqing said, "Opening the treasure trove is a big event for Do Valley, so we need to prepare for a few days and gather all of the younger generation to open the treasure trove." Zhao Fu felt quite surprised and asked, "Is it that difficult to open the treasure trove?" Bing Qingqing replied, "Of course, it's the treasure trove left behind by Do Valley's number 1 expert, and it contains his legacy. Ordinary geniuses won't be able to open it." Zhao Fu frowned. "Is it possible that the treasure trove can't be opened? Also, with so many people gathered here, how am I supposed to take anything from the treasure?" Now, things had developed beyond Zhao Fu's expectations. Not only was it possible that the treasure trove could not be opened, but it was also possible that even if it was opened, Zhao Fu would not be able to enter with so many people present. It was even more impossible for him to force his way in. This was someone else's territory, and doing so would be courting death. Hong Yin said softly, "Husband, if I open the treasury, I will bring out what you need." Ziyin also said, "Don't look down on us. Although we can't compare to you, we are still famous geniuses in this region." Zhao Fu chuckled. "I'll leave it to you then." Right now, there didn't seem to be any other way. He could only ask Ziyin and Hong Yin to see if there was anything Zhao Fu needed. If there wasn't, then he would have wasted so much time. Hong Qin said softly, "You haven't told me what to do with our relationship from now on. It's not good to continue like this." Zhao Fu said with a smile, "What's wrong with this?" Bing Qingqing said angrily, "You're a scoundrel." Ziyu said coquettishly, "You scoundrel, we're already your people, yet you still bully us. If you don't resolve this matter, don't even think about seeing us again." Zhao Fu lightly laughed as he said, "What can we do? After this matter is resolved, you can leave with me." Bing Qingqing said somewhat reluctantly, "We've been in Dove Valley for so many years, and we've long since gotten used to this place. Our family and friends are also here." Hong Yin said, "If we leave like this, won't we be letting down our husband? In the past, they treated us very well, and we were their wives. However, we were harmed by you, and I also want to scold you." Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "I will do my best to make it up to them, and I promise that you won't feel sad after leaving with me." Hearing Zhao Fu's promise, the three beautiful women felt at ease. On the third day, Dove Valley was quite lively. Everyone in Dove Valley knew about the treasure trove, and some people from other factions had come to join in on the fun. It was said that anyone who obtained the legacy from the treasure trove could become the next lord of Dove Valley. This caused the countless people in Dove Valley to feel incredibly excited, and they all wanted to open the treasure trove and become the next lord of Dove Valley. Moreover, there were not many restrictions on opening the treasure trove. Anyone with a certain amount of talent and power could participate. It seemed that the higher-ups of Dove Valley were worried that no one would be able to open it, which was why the requirements were so relaxed. Zhao Fu, Hong Yin, Ziyin, and the others walked towards the stage. "Hong Yin, I heard that you brought the Lord of Dou sword back. It's a pity that you can't open the treasure trove. You've helped me greatly." "Thank you." A woman with long black hair and a haughty aura appeared in front of everyone and said mockingly. Hong Yin frowned as she said, "Hey, Lon Air, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. Go away." Zhao Fu looked at the woman in front of him and asked, "Who is she?" Ziyin explained somewhat angrily, "She's the daughter of an elder and has some enmity with us. She goes around opposing us. She's so annoying." Hearing this, Heilon'er coldly snorted, "If I become the next lord of Dove Valley, I'll show you how powerful I am." Ziyin did not back down as she said, "Then when we become the next lord of Dove Valley, you'll be in trouble." "Humph. Don't even think about becoming the next lord of Dove Valley." A muscular man with blood-red hair walked over arrogantly. Ziyin and the others' expressions changed. The blood-red-haired man was called Xue Changkong, and he was the strongest and most talented person in Dove Valley. His status was also extremely noble, and he was viewed as the most suitable candidate to become the next lord of Dove Valley. Ziyin coldly snorted, "Xue Changkong, don't think that the lord of Dove Valley will be yours. You'll know once you try." Xue Changkong domineeringly laughed as he said, "Who else can become the lord of Dove Valley apart from me? Once I become the lord of Dove Valley, I want all of you to come and serve me." The three women were infuriated and glared at Xue Changkong. At that moment, Zhao Fu indifferently said, "You might be disappointed, but the two of them are now my women." Originally, Zhao Fu did not want to cause any trouble, but when he heard Xue Changkong's words, he could not help it. Hong Yin and Ziyin were now his women, and this person dared to bully them in such a domineering manner. Everyone present was flabbergasted. Hong Yin and Ziyin had noble statuses in Dove Valley. So how did they become his women? Ziyin smiled as she hugged Zhao Fu and said with a complacent and provocative smile, "Xue Changkong, let me tell you, Even though your talent in Doe Valley was not bad, you're nothing compared to my husband." Hearing those words, Xue Changkong was infuriated. "Then tell me who he is." The others also looked curiously at Zhao Fu. From Ziyan's tone, they could tell that Zhao Fu's identity was most likely very terrifying. Zhao Fu smiled as he said, "You don't have the qualifications to know." Everyone was startled. They had never thought that Zhao Fu would be even more arrogant than Xue Changkong, daring to say such words to him. Chapter 2642, Book 1, Chapter 877. Xue Changkong was about to attack when the people beside him hurriedly said, "Young master, the event is about to start. Let's deal with them after it's over. The legacy is more important." Hearing this, Xue Changkong thought about it and coldly harumphed, "I'll look for you later." After saying this, Xue Changkong led his group and left. Halon Air said, "I never thought that you two would find a man so quickly. What a pity." Ziyin smiled as she said, "What's there to feel pity about? We're quite happy right now. Do you want to try being our husband's woman?" Halon Air lightly harumphed, "Don't even think about it. I'm not a casual woman." After saying this, Halon Air walked forwards. Zhao Fu said, "Let's go as well." The group also walked forwards and came to the stage. There were countless people gathered here, and it was impossible to see how many of them there were. Bing Qingqing found Zhao Fu and the others and smiled as she said, "Hong Yin and Ziyin, you two go to the front to participate in the event. Zhao Fu, you two come with me to the viewing platform." Zhao Fu nodded. Ziyin and Hong Yin went to the open space in front of them. They did not need to register to participate in this event. Those who were qualified could stand in the open space in front of them. People continuously walked up, and there were already thousands of people. Zhao Fu followed Bing Qingqing to a specially built viewing platform. When Ziyu and Hong Yin saw Zhao Fu, they gave happy smiles and went up to greet him. Hong Yi frowned and felt quite displeased. "The viewing platform has limited space. Just let them watch from below. Why do they have to come up?" Perhaps it was because of his intuition, but Hong He did not like Zhao Fu. Bing Qingqing said rudely, "There's enough space. Don't worry about that." Hong He felt quite angry and turned to Bai Lang and said, "Control your woman. She's being so intimate with that boy. Otherwise, others will think that she's having an affair with him." Bai Lang dryly laughed and looked at Bing Qingqing. He felt that Bing Qingqing was indeed being too intimate with Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu was only Hong Yan's friend, so it was fine for her to be polite. However, there was no need to be so intimate, right? Also, why did he feel that his wife was becoming more and more beautiful and moving? Facing Bai Lang's gaze, Bing Qingqing felt quite guilty. Hong He was right. They had betrayed her husband and had been together with Zhao Fu for the past few days. Zhao Fu suddenly smiled and said, "Since there's no more space, we'll have a look from below." Hong Yi said, "Bing Qingqing, Bing Yin, Bing, Zhao Tu Bing 2, 2, and Bing Zhao Fu 2 and Fu, and 1, and Zhao Hao Hao Bing, Bing 2, 1, 1 Zhao 1, and 1, 1, 1 Zhao." A trace of smile appeared on Hong Yi's face as he looked at Ericina and the other women playfully. Over the past few days, he had seen how beautiful these women were and was extremely tempted. It was a pity that he had not had the chance to get his hands on them. Hongha to X how Hongha, how to Hongha Hongha, Hongha, Hongha Hong 10 read. Chong Bing 2. With X. 2. Bing He. Bai Lang smiled awkwardly and said, "Wife, I didn't mean that. Don't be angry." I said coldly, "You don't need to apologize, I'm not angry." Bai Lang felt awkward and did not say anything else. Zhao Fu and the others came to the front of the platform. At this time, there were already more than 10,000 people gathered in the open space in front of them. There were also hundreds of thousands of people watching. Some people couldn't even get on the platform and could only watch from afar. A yellow-robed old man holding a sword walked up to the stone door and shouted, "Is there anyone else who wants to participate in the treasure opening event?" No one answered, and no one stepped forward. The yellow-robed old man glanced around, then stabbed the sword in his hand into the ground. Clang! A massive sword hum rang out, and countless sword-light insects shot out from the sword. The entire platform started to shine with light, and the surrounding heaven and earth power quickly gathered. Kill, 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 kill. Countless battle cries sounded out, and a massive battle aura spread out from the stone door. Transparent figures rushed out from the stone door, some holding swords, some holding sabers, some holding spears, some holding axes, some holding spears. After these transparent figures appeared, they quickly rushed towards the people standing in the open space in front of them. The people in the open space also took out various kinds of weapons. Clang, clang, clang. Both sides fought, and the scene descended into chaos. Cold light shot out, and clanging sounds continuously rang out. Powerful auras spread out. Ziyin took out a saber and vigorously swung it, sending out a sharp saber light that destroyed a few of the transparent figures. With her power, dealing with these transparent figures was not a problem. However, there were some people who were unable to defeat the transparent figures and were sent flying. Those people who were sent flying lay on the ground without being attacked by the transparent figures. However, they still lost the right to continue participating. This was only the initial trial, and it was not the 3 barriers. Only those who could last until the end would have the right to use their swords to break the barriers. Those who could not last until the end did not even have the right to use their swords. Boom! Xue Changkong was worthy of being the number 1 person in the valley. He directly unleashed a blood-colored aura flame, forming a blood-colored lion that slaughtered those transparent figures. He also received countless people's attention. Xue Changkong also enjoyed this feeling of being the center of attention. Han Yin and Ziyin's performance was also not bad. Their weapons unleashed rays of cold light that killed large swathes of the transparent figures. In truth, those who took the trial only needed to kill 20 transparent figures to not be attacked. However, killing more transparent figures also had an advantage. That was that they would be able to use their swords to break the barriers earlier. This was also very important. If the difference in strength wasn't very great, then if one person obtained a sword to open the treasury first, that person would win. Even if the second person's strength was about the same as the first person's, they wouldn't have a second chance. Countless transparent figures continued to pour out of the stone gates. The people on the stage continued to fight them, and the number of people on the stage gradually decreased. Some of the people who had lost their qualifications also retreated from the stage. After half a day, no more transparent figures came out of the stone gates. However, there were only around 500 people left. Originally, there had been around 10,000 people participating in the trial. Now, that number had dropped to around 500. This number was truly shocking. The people left on the field were more or less injured, and some of them looked exhausted. Fortunately, the next trial did not immediately begin, giving some people some time to rest and recover some of their strength. After 10 minutes, a wave of shouts once again sounded out as countless transparent figures flowed out of the stone gates. This time, not only were there more transparent figures, but they were also more powerful than last time. They gave off ferocious auras as they charged towards those who remained on the stage. Those who remained on the stage earnestly continued to fight. Even though others watched with great interest and excitement, Zhao Fu felt that it was quite boring. If it was him, he would be able to kill countless figures with a single slash of his sword. Chapter 26:43. Book 1. 88. After this wave of attacks from the transparent figures, the original 500 or so people were now only left with 30 or so. The Dogu higher-ups on the viewing platforms frowned. With so many people dying, it would be even more difficult to open the treasure trove. After giving Xue Changkong and the others some time to rest, the final test began. This time, there were no sounds of fighting. Instead, a huge wave of battle intent surged out like a tidal wave, causing the surrounding atmosphere to become oppressive. More than 30 transparent figures slowly walked out from the stone door, staring coldly at Xue Changkong and the others. The expressions of Xue Changkong and the others became quite serious. These 30 or so transparent figures were more dangerous than the countless transparent figures from before. Swish, swish, swish. The 30 or so transparent figures wielded weapons and quickly charged at Xue Changkong and the others. They hurriedly used their weapons to defend, and the two sides clashed intensely. This time, Xue Changkong and the others did not have it so easy, and the situation became quite difficult. Even the strongest Xue Changkong was suppressed by the attacks of a transparent figure. Xing, one of the transparent figures, sent a wave of power into the saber in his hand, causing a saber hum to ring out. A saber image that was tens of meters long was formed, and it slashed out with berserk power, sending a young man flying far away. He crashed to the ground and coughed up a mouthful of blood before fainting. Everyone stared at the scene in shock. This transparent figure was truly powerful. Boom, boom, boom. As this transparent figure unleashed all of his power, the other transparent figures also exploded out with all of their power. Powerful auras spread out, causing wild gales to blow out. Xue Changkong and the others also used all of their power, causing their bodies to burn with aura flames, giving off terrifying power. Bang, bang, bang. The two sides clashed intensely, causing loud sounds to continuously ring out. Waves of energy continuously blasted out, causing the ground to crack and some rocks to fly out. The most eye-catching was still Xue Changkong. His body gave off a blood-red aura flame, and he held a blood-red saber as he hacked at another transparent figure in the air. Saber chi swept out, creating an intense scene. Hong Yin's body gave off a red aura flame as she slashed out with her sword, causing countless sword lights to rain down on the transparent figure. The transparent figure blocked with his saber, blocking the countless sword lights and swinging his hand backwards. A terrifying saber energy slashed towards Hong Yin, causing a deep ravine to appear on the ground. Hong Yin raised her sword and slashed out. A sharp sword light slashed out and collided with the saber energy, resulting in an intense explosion. Sword light shot out in all directions, and the energy scattered in all directions. Heilon Air held a long sword and turned into a black ray of light as she quickly rushed towards a transparent figure. The transparent figure did not show any fear and slammed towards Heilon Air with great power. Bang! An explosion rang out as the two powerful forces collided, causing light to shoot out in all directions. Rocks were sent flying, and a large crater appeared on the ground. The two of them were at the center of the pit, their swords intertwined. The people around them also looked at the intense battle in front of them nervously and solemnly. None of them turned their heads to talk. After an hour, the winner was finally decided. In the end, only 6 people managed to defeat the invisible figure. The first was Xue Changkong, the second was Hong Yin, the third was Ziyin, the fourth was Heilon, the fifth was an ordinary-looking youth, and the sixth was a cold-looking youth. Everyone else left, and those who had fainted were carried away. Only Xue Changkong and the others were left. Now, only the 6 of them had the qualifications to break through the barrier. Xue Changkong looked at the other 5 people, who were all slightly injured, and he smiled confidently as he said, "I'll give you all a chance. I'll let you go and grab your swords first." According to the rules, Xue Changkong had killed the most invisible figures, so he was the first person to go up. Hong Yin and Ziyin looked at each other and did not say anything. The youth smiled as he said, "Don't regret it after I open the treasury." The youth walked up and grabbed the hilt of the sword, pulling it out from the ground. He then looked at the sword in his hand with some excitement. After looking at the sword, the youth looked at the stone door and sent a wave of power into the sword in his hand as he vigorously slashed out. Bang! Before the sword could hit the stone door, a massive wave of energy flowed out from the stone door, sending the youth flying 100 meters away. He crashed to the ground and coughed up a large mouthful of blood, and the sword was also sent flying. Everyone was shocked. They had never thought that out of the 6 people they had chosen, the first one would fail just like that. The remaining 5 people's expressions became grave. Even though they had passed the test, These 3 barriers would definitely be very difficult to break. No one said anything, and the scene was quite quiet. The cold-looking youth said, "Let me try." The cold-looking youth picked up the sword and solemnly walked in front of the stone door. He held the sword horizontally, and he was not as careless and rash as before. He continuously sent his power into the sword in his hand. The sword gave off countless rays of sword light, and a shocking sword aura spread out, covering the surroundings. Boom! The cold-looking youth slashed out, and a terrifying ray of sword light containing enough power to destroy everything slashed towards the stone door, causing the ground to instantly crack. At that moment, a massive wave of power surged into the stone door, and it collided with the sword light. Bang! A huge explosion rang out, and a shock wave spread out. Rubble flew everywhere, blocking everyone's line of sight. No one knew what had happened, or whether or not the cold-looking youth had broken the stone door's barrier. When the dust settled, the cold-looking youth was half squatting on the ground with blood dripping from the corner of his mouth, while the stone door was completely fine. Everyone was dumbfounded. Such a powerful attack hadn't even been able to break the first barrier. Was the barrier's power really that terrifying? The people in the viewing platforms were also a bit flabbergasted. Although they didn't think the cold-looking youth would be able to break the third barrier, they felt that breaking one shouldn't be a problem. But if he couldn't even break the first barrier, then the power of the stone door's barrier surpassed their imaginations. The cold-looking youth stabbed the sword in his hand into the ground and stood up, retreating to the side. He knew that with his power, he wouldn't be able to break the barrier, so he didn't continue trying. Ziyin said, "I also want to try." Ziyin pulled out the sword and solemnly looked at the stone gate. A powerful energy poured into the sword in her hand. It began to emit countless strands of silver sword chi. Countless strands of sword chi revolve around Ziyin, and a sharp aura that seemed like it could cut through skin spread out. This wasn't the end. Ziyin continued to pour more sword chi into the sword. The sword chi whirlpool grew larger and larger, releasing an even more terrifying sword aura. Sword marks appeared on the ground. Boom! Zhao Fu swung the Ziyin sword, and a massive vortex of sword chi ferociously slashed towards the stone door. The ground was continuously shattered by the sword chi, and countless ear-piercing sounds rang out. Chapter 2644. Volume 1, Zhang Tai. At this moment, a huge wave of energy once more surged out of the stone gate. This time, that energy chose to defend, forming a transparent barrier around the stone gate. Clang, 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 sword chi slashed onto the transparent barrier, causing loud sounds to ring out. Countless sharp sword chi were unable to cut through the barrier, not leaving even the slightest mark. Its defensive power was a bit frightening. In the end, the sword chi vortex dissipated, but it was unable to break through the barrier. Ziyin wanted to try again. "There's no need to try. You won't be able to break that barrier." Ziyin coldly snorted and threw the sword in her hand to Heilong. "Why don't you try and see if you can break it?" Heilong caught the sword with a solemn expression. She looked at the stone gate in front of her. She did not have much confidence in breaking the barrier, but she would try with her full power. Heilong threw the sword into the sky and raised a hand. A wave of black energy surged out of it. The sword in the sky seemed to be held up by some sort of power, and it floated in the sky. Heilong's power continuously flowed out, and the sword gave off countless black sword lights. A massive black snake appeared in the sky, giving off a terrifying aura that could cause people's hairs to stand on end. Boom! Heilong's hand fell, and the huge black serpent let out a hiss. It gave off a powerful aura as it smashed towards the stone gate. It seemed like it could smash apart a mountain. This time, the power that surged out of the stone gate formed an energy barrier. Bang! A huge sound rang out as the black serpent smashed into the energy barrier. A wild gale blew out, but the black serpent was unable to break the barrier. There was not even the slightest crack on the barrier. The black serpent's power gradually disappeared, and in the end, it turned back into the sword that stabbed into the ground. Ziyin laughed mockingly. And here I was wondering how powerful you were. In the end, aren't you the same as me? Halon coldly said, this barrier isn't something we can break. Of course I can't break it. Everyone looked at Hong Yin and Xue Changkong. Originally, they had chosen 6 people, but now, only the 2 of them were left. They were also the last hope. If the 2 of them could not break through the barrier, then this event would have to be declared a failure. However, even if there was still hope, everyone's expressions did not look good. That was because there were 3 layers to the barrier. Since the first layer, the weakest barrier, had not been broken, how could the other 2 layers be broken? Hong Yin pulled out the sword and retreated more than 10 meters. She looked at the stone door with a serious expression. She loosened her grip on the sword and formed a sword with her fingers. The sword was controlled by an invisible force and floated to the left of Hong Yin. Power continued to flow out from Hong Yan's sword fingers, and the sword also gave off sword light. As power continued to flow out, the sword trembled, and the sword light it gave off became even more dazzling. A sharp sword chi filled the surroundings, and the temperature dropped rapidly. Everyone could feel that this power was stronger than Halon Er's, but could it break through the barrier? Everyone became nervous. Hong Yin raised her sword and pointed at the stone door. Clang! A massive sword hum sounded out as the sword brought with it an intense sword light and shot out like a massive beam of light. It was extremely fast. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as the sword slammed into the barrier, causing a massive destructive power to ripple out. The ground around the stone door cracked, and the massive force caused the sword to pierce into the barrier. Everyone's eyes widened in shock. Finally, someone could break through the barrier. Hong Yan's expression was serious as she pointed her sword at the stone door. Her sword gave off an intense sword light and continued to stab forward with terrifying power. The tip of the sword moved forward bit by bit, but then it stopped and could not go any further. Hong Yin could not hold on any longer, and her body loosened as her power dissipated, causing the sword to powerlessly fall to the ground. Seeing this, everyone felt quite disappointed. They had thought that Hong Yin would be able to break through the barrier, but she had still failed in the end. Bai Lang said to Bing softly, "Wife, do you think anyone else can break through the barrier and open the treasure trove?" Bing Qingqing looked quite worried as she said, "I don't know." Bing Qingqing was quite worried that no one would be able to open the treasure trove. If that happened, Zhao Fu would be wasting his time here, and their plan would fail. Originally, it had been Hong Yin and Ziyin who had broken through the barrier to open the treasure trove and obtain what Zhao Fu needed. However, no one had broken through the first barrier, so who could open the treasure trove? Their only hope was Xue Changkong. As the first person to take the valley, he had some hope of opening the treasure trove. Zi Xiaonong sighed as he said, "It might be difficult. Xue Changkong is quite powerful, but he can at most break through the first barrier. There's still 2 barriers left." Ziyu frowned as she said, "Are the youths this year so weak? If Xue Changkong can't do it, I'll go and try later." Zi Xiaonong looked at Ziyu and asked in confusion, "Wife, why do you still want to go and try?" Ziyu rolled her eyes as she said, "It's none of your business." Zi Xiaonong felt quite displeased as he said, "It's useless even if you go. Only the youths can open the treasure trove. If you don't follow the rules, you'll be in danger." Hong Yin was also worried that the treasure trove could not be opened. Aside from them, the few emptiness realm experts sitting in the middle of the spectator stands also frowned. They were rather disappointed with the younger generation of this year's competition. Up until now, none of them had managed to break a layer of the barrier. If Xue Changkong was also unable to defeat them, then this competition would be a joke. The guests from the other factions wore faint smiles as they looked down. They also understood that this grand and lively event was going to end in failure. They thought it was quite funny. Originally, they had hoped that someone would break through the third barrier and obtain the inheritance of the strongest expert of the valley. Then, they would be chosen as the next master of the valley. However, The youths of the valley were so useless that they could not even break through the first barrier. It was quite embarrassing. It was a pity that the treasure trove could only be opened with the bloodline of the valley's owner. Otherwise, they could have sent their own people to try. If they could open the treasure trove, that would be even more interesting. Actually, no one would know if they had not tried. It was not that the youths of the valley were too weak. It was just that the barrier was too strong. Ordinary geniuses would not be able to break it. The barrier left behind by the strongest expert of the valley could only be broken by an absolute genius. He would not be interested in the top geniuses. Only the absolute geniuses were qualified to obtain his inheritance. Countless people stared at Xue Changkong. Hong Yin and the others stared back at him. Xue Changkong was not as relaxed as before. He felt a great pressure. However, no matter what, he had to try his best. Chapter 2645. Book 1, Chapter 90. Destruction. Xue Changkong stood in front of the stone door with a sword in his hand and raised the sword in his other hand. Boom! A massive explosion rang out as Xue Changkong poured all of his power into the sword, causing it to give off strands of blood-red sword qi. It gave off a power that seemed to be able to massacre the world, causing countless people to feel terror in their hearts. Everyone held their breaths and felt incredibly nervous because Xue Changkong was the last person who could break through the barrier. Xing! Xue Changkong slashed down, and a blood-red sword light formed a river that contained world-destroying power and ferociously surged forward. Nothing could stop it, and the ground crumbled, creating a massive ravine. Bang! The blood-red river of sword light slammed against the stone door's defensive barrier, resulting in a massive sound. The indestructible defensive barrier was now covered with countless cracks, and the river of sword light continued to slam against the barrier until it shattered. Countless people could not help but cry out. Someone had finally broken through the first barrier. Hong Yin and the others looked shocked. They had never thought that Xue Changkong would be so powerful. The spectators on the viewing platforms let out sighs of relief. Fortunately, only the first barrier had been broken, or else it would have been too embarrassing if they had not broken through a single barrier. Seeing that he had broken through the first barrier, Xue Changkong let out a sigh of relief, and hearing the cheers around him, he gave a trace of smile. After a while, Xue Changkong recovered his strength and once again raised his sword, continuously sending all of his power into it. The sword once again gave off traces of blood-red sword qi, and the world-destroying power spread out. Countless people stared with wide eyes, excitedly waiting for this scene. Xing! A massive sword hum sounded out as a river of blood-red sword light surged towards the stone door with terrifying power. It gave off an extremely terrifying aura. Boom! A massive wave of power flowed out from the stone doors, turning into a ray of sword qi that contained incredibly sharp power as it shot out incredibly quickly. The ferocious river of sword light was instantly slashed apart by the ray of sword qi, and the blood-red river of sword light was split in half as the sword qi continued towards Xue Changkong. Xue Changkong felt quite startled and blocked with his sword. Bang! A muffled sound rang out as Xue Changkong was sent flying, coughing up a large mouthful of blood. The sword in his hand flew out and fell to the ground. Seeing this, the crowd sighed. Xue Changkong was only able to break the first barrier and the second barrier. It was impossible to break the third barrier. The spectators in the stands were not too surprised because they had already expected this to happen. The treasure hunt had ended in failure. The old man, sitting in the middle of the grandstand, said in disappointment, "It seems that we still have to wait for the next generation of the younger generation to break the barrier. This generation has already failed." An old woman said, "It wasn't easy to find the snatching sword. I also thought that the treasure would be opened, but I was happy for nothing." The middle-aged man next to him said unhappily, "I didn't expect the younger generation to be so weak. They only broke the first barrier and will be laughed at by the other factions. Let's end the meeting as soon as possible. I don't want to stay here anymore." Everyone nodded. Now, All the people who were qualified to hold the sword had failed, and no one was qualified anymore. Bing Qingqing and the others were disappointed. It seemed that Zhao Fu had wasted so much time, but he had not been able to open the treasure, let alone obtain what was inside. Everyone present was very disappointed. They had all come for the person who could break the barrier, obtain the #1 expert's inheritance, and become the next snatching master. They had never thought that this would happen, and they were not interested in staying here anymore. The yellow-haired old man went up and was about to announce the end of the event. "I want to give it a try." A voice suddenly rang out. Everyone followed the voice and looked at a young man wearing a cloak. "Who is this person?" everyone asked curiously. The other people in Duo Gu shook their heads, indicating that they had never seen Zhao Fu before. Shui Kong and the others also looked at Zhao Fu. Shui Kong did not believe that Zhao Fu could break the barrier, while Hong Yin and Bai Lang smiled in pleasant surprise. Bai Lang reminded, "As Hong Yan's friend, you might not know this, but this barrier can only be opened with the bloodline of Duo Gu." Hong He sneered, "You don't know the immensity of heaven and earth." Bing Qingqing, Ziyu, and Hong Yin looked quite surprised. They had never thought that Zhao Fu would suddenly say such a thing. Hearing that Zhao Fu was not the person who had come to Duo Gu, the surrounding people could not help but laugh. A youth with a black mole on his face laughed as he said, "If it wasn't for the bloodline restriction, I would also want to try. After all, I have nothing to lose." Another person also said, "Everyone wants to give it a try." Zhao Fu ignored these people and walked forwards. The people around him made way for him, and Zhao Fu came to an empty space in front of him and made a grabbing motion with his hand. Shing! The sword that had fallen to the side gave off a sword hum and flew into Zhao Fu's hand. Sensing Zhao Fu's aura, it became incredibly excited as if it had met its true master. Even though Zhao Fu was not the person who had come to Duo Gu, it could not be forgotten that Zhao Fu had absorbed Hong Yin and Ziyan's bloodline, so he could also be counted as the person who had come to Duo Gu. This was why the sword was so excited when it sensed the primal chaos source energy within Zhao Fu's body. Zhao Fu did not want to do this, but since no one else could break the barrier, he could only do it himself. The scene fell into silence. Everyone looked at the scene in front of them in surprise. What was going on? A few people had taken out swords before, but none of them had such a reaction. Zhao Fu sent some of his power into the sword, and it no longer trembled. Zhao Fu walked towards the stone door. The yellow-haired elder went up, wanting to stop Zhao Fu. The elder sitting in the middle had a solemn expression as he said, "Let him try." Everyone looked at Zhao Fu. It was obvious that Zhao Fu was not simple. Shui Kong and He Lan expressions also became solemn, and they no longer dared to look down on Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu slowly walked up to the stone door. The stone door seemed to sense great danger, and it gave off countless rays of light that formed a firm energy barrier. Zhao Fu raised the sword in his hand and sent some of his power into it. The sword gave off a faint black light, and he slashed forward quickly. Boom! The sword slashed down on the barrier, causing a huge explosion. The barrier seemed to have been hit by an unimaginable power and instantly shattered. A strong wind blew out in all directions, causing everyone's hair to be blown back and their clothes to flutter. Everyone looked at Zhao Fu in shock. They had never thought that Zhao Fu would be able to break through the first barrier so easily. Even Shui Kong had not been able to do it so easily. Just who is this person? His power is too terrifying. Although they did not know who was behind Zhao Fu, they were certain that it was someone who had come to Duo Gu. Otherwise, they would not even be qualified to go up, let alone break through the barrier. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.